Welcome to what I'm sure you've already noticed is the longest video in YouTube history. Well, the longest video of any Scambaiting channel. Okay, the longest video of this channel. What makes it so long is the fact that this scammer sends me lots of emails. I mean, lots. Anywhere from 5 in one day to 18 in one day. I answer each email in the order I receive it, but unlike the scammer, I'm not willing to write 5 to 18 responses per day. Usually I average from 3 to 5 replies. Now, because he's sending me tons of emails each day, and I'm writing responses to less than tons each day, it doesn't take long before, say, he's sending me email number 20, while I'm sending him my reply to his email number 10, for example. As the correspondence continues, the gap between the email he's sending me and the time he receives my reply to that email keeps growing. Soon he's asking a question or giving me an instruction, but not receiving my response until 2 or 3 weeks later. In my responses, I deliberately don't include the thread that preceded any of them. There's nothing to signal to him which of his emails I'm responding to. That makes it kind of fun for me, and I'm guessing kind of very frustrating for him. But if I share them here in strict chronological order, I don't think you'll be very happy. I could think of 3 different methods of dealing with this jumping around in time quandary. One is the time bandits model.
Ready? 1. Stop! You never start on 1.
Where they just jump around in time in what physicists refer to as a higgly-piggly manner. Or I could adapt the method of memento, where the story is revealed in reverse chronological order. In a way, this is similar to the problem that faced Once Upon a Time in America, which originally was told in a series of flashbacks and flash-forwards until the film studio decided it was too confusing for the audience and instead recut the movie so that everything unfolded in strict chronological order, which kind of ruined the story. Meanwhile, I can't just share them with you in the order they were sent or received, because I'm sure you'll find it as frustrating as I suspect he did. So for you, I'm presenting them in clusters or vignettes. Often we have a back-and-forth dialogue in which I reply to a specific one of his emails a week or 2 after I receive it, and he then replies to my delayed reply, and if I have a response to his reply to my reply, I reply to it a couple of weeks later. But you'll see them as a cohesive back-and-forth dialogue so that, unlike the scammer, you won't wonder what the heck I'm talking about during any particular exchange. There also are emails from him to which I respond, and it doesn't go any further than that. By the way, one side effect of his not receiving prompt replies to his messages is he would ask me a question, and in the time between when he asks it and when I answer it, he gets impatient and asks me again. Or at times, he answers one of my questions, but because I have to wait so long for that answer, I ask it again before he has a chance to answer it for the first time. So, now that I've explained it all so clearly that you understand exactly what I'm talking about, let's get to the actual emails. It all begins with an email comprised of a ton of text and very little punctuation, and apparently written before the invention of paragraphs. The subject is, "Good Day." It's from Damian M. Kozlowski, and as always is the case with very important confidential emails, it's addressed to undisclosed recipients. "Hello, dear. How are you doing today? I'm Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski from World Bank. I'm here to inform you about your fund that has been holed by some wicked men in our office here in California. You would have been a millionaire by now, but due to the wickedness of some men in this world. Well, like I said before, I'm Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski. This is what happened today in our office that made me look for your email and number, but I couldn't find your contact. I only found your email in some documents about you in our office. What I'm telling you now is that you have up to $6.8 million that you are supposed to be receiving every month, but some bad men in our office hold it off since March of 2023. You have a very big amount of money that you should be receiving every year, but some men hold it off, and as I'm talking to you right now, they're planning on how to claim that money from you, but that I can't let happen. The members of World Bank have decided to claim down that your money because it is a very big amount of money, but I don't want them to get that money. That's why I contacted you, and secondly, they are the course of all the scammers that scam you, and don't you ever leave your money to all this stupid men, okay? And please make me a promise that you will not tell anyone else about this deal we are about to proceed. I will help you in some way of transferring the money to your account. Remember, try to be honest with me. Do what I ask you so that we cannot have any problem on this, okay? And don't tell anyone else about this. It is a deal between me and you. Don't tell anyone about this, okay? But you have to promise me that you'll compensate once you receive this funds. If you're ready to receive your funds, kindly get back to me immediately. Best regards, Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski. Dear Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, first of all, thank you for contacting me. I do not really understand everything that you are telling me about, but I do understand that you are trying to stop some bad men from stealing money that is supposed to go to me. So even before understanding exactly what has been going on, thank you for putting me on alert. Are you saying that some of your fellow employees at World Bank are actually criminals? Unfortunately, from what I read on the internet, the presence of thieves in the temple more and more is becoming a sign of the times. I suppose I should consider myself fortunate that, against all odds, one of their honest colleagues, you, is trying to stop them. But hearing about this makes me very, very upset and even angry. I am sure you already have contacted the police or the FBI or whoever has jurisdiction there about this. What are they, the police, doing about this? How can I help put those bastards in jail where they belong? I am sorry to use such language, but learning about this has filled me with uncontrollable anger. What is it that made it so I'm supposed to receive $6.8 million every month? The only thing I can think of is maybe some relative died and bequeathed all that money to me, but I didn't know I had any rich relatives. If the money is not some sort of inheritance that I didn't know about, where does the money come from and why is it supposed to be sent to me? Where in California is your office located? I am so upset by this news that I think I should use some of my frequent flyer miles to confront those men in person. I'm not afraid to do so. I know how to handle myself in a fight, which I try to avoid, but when necessary, I won't hesitate to use violence to protect myself or my family or my money, or sometimes it's just to blow off steam. How do they plan to steal that money? How will you stop them? And what can I do to help you stop those bastards? Again, it definitely sounds as though I should fly to California and be alongside you as we fight them together. Are you in Los Angeles? It has been quite a few years since I've been to that state, and I definitely don't want to get stuck in Lodi again, but I will go to whatever location the World Bank has there. I do promise not to tell anyone else about this deal, and I have told my wife, Maybellene, not to tell anyone about it either. I don't think any of my friends or neighbors would be involved in such a criminal scheme, but if there are criminals even inside World Bank, then I guess it goes to show you never can tell. How soon do you need me to be there? If I can find an available airline seat using my miles, I might be able to come as early as next week. Please let me know as soon as possible, so I will know quickly. Thank you once again for helping to stop those criminals. In sincerity, Robb, or as my friends call me, Robb McClellan. P.S. The only thing I did not understand from your message is when you said I have to promise you that I'll compensate once I receive the funds. That part I don't understand of it. What is it I should compensate for, and how do I do that? This is the only time the scammer doesn't flood me with emails. I don't receive an immediate reply. I'm guessing that's because, as I think you'll discover, when an intended victim replies to that boilerplate scam pitch, that reply is forwarded to any of a number of worker bee scammers to handle the actual correspondence. It can take a couple of days for that person to begin the process of trying to screw people out of their money. But of course, they need an explanation of why, if this is such an urgent matter, it has taken them so long to reply to my first email. Hello, Mr. Robb McLean. Good day to you. How are you and your family? I travel since 3 days. I'm just seeing your messages. Dear Damian M. Kozlowski, good day to you too, kind sir. Where did you travel to for 3 days? Because I don't know where in California you're located, I won't even try to guess. But the most obvious possibilities for a trip are Hearst Castle, the Madonna Inn, and Parker Junction. I haven't been to the first two, but a few years ago, a couple of friends and I tried to get away to Parker Junction. Unfortunately, we only made it out to Needles. Thank you for asking about my family and myself. Please forgive me for how long this email I am writing to you is. Normally, I am quite taciturn, and in some important circles am well known for keeping my mouth shut. I am feeling a bit tired. I have not been able to get a full night's sleep ever since I learned about those World Bank criminals. I don't mean you, of course, trying to steal my money. Believe it or not, the person who teaches the anger management class I'm required to attend, for no good reason at all, said if I want to fall asleep at bedtime, not when I'm driving or something, I should try counting sheep. I'm sure he must know I'm a vegetarian and avoid contact with animals, and he said what he said because he wants to upset me so much that I do something that results in my being, well, I won't bore you with the details, but he just wants me to get in trouble with certain authorities, if you know what I mean. Also, anyone with half a brain or more knows that counting sheep thing is just an old fiancé's tale. I am keeping a list of every insomnia cure I can find. The internet has a big list of many of them, and no doubt there are some that the authorities deliberately are not telling us about because, as always, they want to control us. But I didn't get where I am today by not knowing how to tell when the government is hiding something from me. As you probably know, there are prescription medicines, such as Ambien, that can make you sleep. I tried it once a few years ago, and while it did make me sleep, apparently it made me do things in my sleep that I don't even remember doing. The police hypnotherapist tried to get me to remember by hypnotizing me. The guy must be an idiot to think I'm going to let the police hypnotize me. He'd probably try to get me to say where I hid the box filled with valuable things that I found on Oak Island. How did our conversation suddenly become all about insomnia cures? Weird. Just to give you 2 more examples of what some former colleagues of mine suggested, those particular 2 colleagues live in a large, noisy government facility where, according to them, it is almost impossible to sleep. It never bothered me when I stayed there, but maybe that was merely the result of good luck. The 2 other things they suggested are, 1, avoiding caffeine. That cure is no help at all because I always avoid caffeine, except for coffee, which is my favorite non-alcoholic beverage because it gives me lots of energy, which really is helpful in my line of work. 2, acupuncture. I don't know if that would work because although needles, not the town, don't scare me or anything, I make it a point to avoid them. When my job temporarily relocated me to that noisy facility I told you about, one of my other colleagues there offered to acupuncture me with a hospital instrument called a shiv. I said, no thank you very much. 3, one of my multicultural acquaintances insists that putting a lettuce leaf under my pillow at night is guaranteed to work. But that sounds just plain crazy to me, and it's not like someone can just go to the grocery store and buy that stuff. Thank you, too, for asking about my family. As far as I know, they don't suffer from insomnia. I have to remember to ask them if I ever see them. Anyway, thank you for your email telling me you have finished traveling. Once you have rested and caught up on any work that was waiting for you when you return to your office, please do me a big favor and answer those questions I asked in my previous email that I sent earlier. If you don't remember what those questions are, you should find them in that previous email I sent you. Damien replies, I'll explain more to you once I'm done with what I'm doing, okay. And I reply, okay. I'm always available on this very email, okay. You don't need to come over here, okay. Just calm down, okay. By Tuesday, I'll give you updates, okay. Damien, thank you for your concern about my calmness, but you do not need to worry. In my occasional profession, stress and pressure are all part of the job. Although now I understand I don't need to come over there, I am quite willing to come over there. I want to face those criminals face to face. They will learn firsthand that I am the wrong person to try to steal his money from. Which city in California is your World Bank office located in? Again, I do not mind coming to be there in person, and I'm sure my added presence will add a lot of unexpected pressure to those criminals. I realize that in this country they're innocent until proven guilty, but I've always considered that to be just an old wives' tale. In sincerity, Robb McLean. Kindly get me this information's okay. Your occupation, your ID card, and your contact okay. Damien, I am so overwhelmed responding to all of the emails you sent me that I'm answering them one at a time. After I finish responding to each of them, I will come back to this one and gather and send the information you requested from me. In the meantime, I hope you had a good holiday yesterday. Mine was really enjoyable. For once, I actually stopped working every minute of the hour, went down to the country roads, and glorified in the feeling of sunshine on my shoulders. That might not sound like such a big deal, but my doctor said I need to spend more time outdoors. I figured he's the doctor, so he should know, so I listened to what the man said, and it was great. With a little luck, I'll be able to do that again sometime soon. Mr. Robb J. McLean, how are you doing today? What do you mean by you don't have phone number? At this point, something came up that prevented my replying to Damien's emails for several days. I am not allowed to comment on unconfirmed reports you may have seen or heard from various media outlets that I was helping out with a top-secret government project, but I'm sure Damien has been wondering. Damien, I'm sorry to have disappeared in the middle of our correspondence. Unexpectedly and without warning, I suffered an idiopathic T.E.S. flare-up and have spent the past week, or maybe it was only 6 days, in the hospital. I don't know if you've ever had to sleep in the hospital, but I hope not. It is nowhere as enjoyable as many people assume it is. Anyway, I'm just glad finally to be home. Now I have 16 tons of emails to reply to. To avoid any needless confusion, I will answer everybody's email in the exact same identical order in which, unbeknownst to me due to the fact that I was in the hospital, they arrived here in my email container. I am doing much better today than I was for the past week. Thank you for asking, which I appreciate very much. What do you mean when you say, what do you mean by you don't have phone number? I never said I don't have phone number. It sounds as though you have me confused with some other person other than me, and maybe that person said they don't have phone number, but you and I never have talked about who has phone number and who doesn't, which means I couldn't have said I don't have phone number because we never even talked about that. Is there some other third person involved in this thing of ours? If so, who is that third person? I mean the name of that person and how they are involved in all this. Surprisingly, Damien reacts to the news of my hospitalization with great sympathy. I mean, for a scammer. Thank you for being okay. Sorry, okay. I didn't know you had an idiopathic T.E.S. I'm so sorry about that. I hope you're getting better now. Damien, thank you for asking about if I'm getting better now. I very much appreciate your concern. I am getting better day after day. It is a slow process. I get tired very easily, and because of the usual post-T.E.S. bad finger, the pain makes it very difficult to sleep. But I am determined to be 100% better very soon, no matter what. Again, thank you for your concern about my health. It is nice to know that, in addition to taking care of those crooks you told me about, and also the money you told me about, I have made a new friend. The pleasure is shared, okay? You need to pay the $2,500 now, okay, so we can get this done in a few days. Damien is beginning to become concerned about my intention to help him confront those crooks in person. Remember I told you that this is between me and you until you get your funds okay, so don't worry about being here, okay? What state are you in, and what do you do for a living? Dear Damien, yes, I remember that this is between you and me. You don't have to worry about me blabbing to anyone. I'm not worried about being there. I want to be there to take care of the crooks who are trying to steal my money. Believe me, I didn't get where I am today by being afraid to be somewhere to take care of business, if you know what I mean. I'm surprised that you asked what state I'm in. I assume you have all of my information in your records, don't you? But to answer your question directly, even though I think you'll find it somewhere in my records, I am in the state of Florida. That reminds me, you still haven't told me where in California you are. I promise not to go there without letting you know first, but in which California city are you located? You also asked what I do for a living.
which I believe I answered pretty thoroughly in an email reply I sent the other day in response to one of your many other emails. Let's just say my job is taking advantage of opportunities when I see them, often when no one else sees them and/or no one else is looking. Answering all of those emails you have sent me is pretty exhausting, especially coming right after a health problem I suffered, but I will keep at it. It may be a long and winding road, but if I keep on trucking, eventually I will have answered every one of your emails and every one of your questions, including questions 67 and 68. Again, from Damien, kindly get me this information's okay. Your occupation, your ID card, and your contact okay. Damien, I thought I would be able to reply to all of your emails that have piled up, many of them while I was in the hospital, which I think I told you about. But I guess I should have believed the hospital doctor when he said I'd still be very tired for as long as a week while my body recovered its strength. But I am determined to finish at least this email to you before going back to bed again. I don't know what you mean by your contact okay. Please ELUCIDE me as to what you mean. My occupation. My occupation varies according to the type of job I am involved with. Overall, I suppose most of my occupation would be malefactioner. On certain capers, however, certain authorities would say I qualify as a misdemeanant. Sometimes I find myself acting in the professional role of malfeasor, and once I had to officially register as a maleficiary. Finally, what type of ID card do you need? I know there are numerous more emails remaining from you for me to reply to. I will resume answering them tomorrow, and maybe I'll be lucky and find that much more of my strength has returned, which would mean I could answer a lot more than just one of them. In sincerity, Robb McLean. Please, I'm waiting for your respond okay. Damien, haven't you been receiving my emails that responded to earlier emails that you previously sent me? If you don't see them in your inbox, please check your spam folder. Unfortunately, that's where a lot of emails go sometimes when they shouldn't. That can be a big nuisance, and I wish they would fix that. Hello, Mr. Robb J. McLean. Kindly get me your contact okay. I've been waiting to hear from you since. Damien, it is very nice to hear from you again. What do you mean when you say, get me your contact? I'm afraid I don't know what you mean, which is why I'm asking. Hello, Mr. Robb McLean. What's going on? You're not responding to my messages. Why are you silent on my messages? Dear Damien M. Kozlowski, I think you must not be seeing my emails that I've been sending to you, because I have sent you quite a few in response to the many emails I found from you waiting for me after the long holiday weekend. I promise I'm not being silent, which would be very unlike me. Please check your spam or junk folder in your email container. Probably you'll find them all there. Then, out of the blue, I receive an email from another member of the scamming team. Although I'm pretty sure Robert Patrick Pogue and Damien M. Kozlowski are the same person, and Damien screwed up by accidentally sending me the opening salvo of a campaign that was meant to target a different victim. How are you doing today? Are you aware of your $89.2 million dollars? Hello, Pogue Robert Patrick. I am doing okay. Thank you for your concern. What $89.2 million are you talking about? Oh, I see the problem. You sent me an email that's addressed to someone named Mr. Robb J. McLean. I have to admit that name is very similar to mine, but as my grandma used to say, close but no cigar. She said that was an old saying from the old country, which is where she came from. Anyway, my name is not MacLean. My name is MacLen, which also can be spelled Miclen. Now, that's a typo on my part. The alternative spellings end with one N and two N's, respectively. So I guess that explains why I don't have anything to do with $89.2 million. I wish I did. That money could come in handy. If there's anything I can do to help you locate the real Mr. McLean, just let me know, and I'll do anything I can to help.
And now Pogue disappears just as abruptly as he came on the scene. I know you're thinking, but he was such a colorful character. I wanted to hear more from him. In that case, you'll be happy to know that before this adventure concludes, just when you least expect it, Pogue returns unexpectedly. Why am I confident that Pogue's email was sent to me inadvertently by Damien? Well, for one thing, just 3 minutes later, I heard from Damien, trying to undo any damage the email screw-up might have done to the ongoing scam. But he was in such a hurry to try to cover his tracks that he used the right name, Damien, but apparently appended it to the first message of the same scam, but with different details. As you'll see, this results in much confusion on my end of the conversation. Have you received your $45.6 million and your 2 Chevrolet trucks? Damien, what on God's green earth are you talking about? What $45.6 million? And you seem to have me confused with someone else. I never have owned, borrowed, or even driven one Chevrolet truck. I suppose there's nothing wrong with them, I guess. But I avoid French automobiles because I don't think they are as safe as non-French vehicles. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is nobody has sent me 2 Chevrolet trucks, and I should know. Please explain your meaning, Damien. But it seems Damien has realized his error and never again mentions $45.6 million or any Chevrolet trucks. Instead, he returns to the comparatively meager $6.8 million he has been dangling before me. Mr. Robb McClen, no one is involved, okay. Just that I need to submit your funds release peppers to IMF. For them to sign it so that you can be receiving your $6.8 million every year. That's why you have to pay the $2,500. I need your urgent reply, okay, so I can know where we stand. Mr. Damien M. Kozlowski, why do you say no one is involved? What about those crooks you told me about? Where am I supposed to send $2,500? Also, in this most recent email to which I am responding, you refer again to peppers. I still don't know what kind of peppers you mean or even why you need them. I also don't know where in California you are, but I am certain there are supermarkets and probably farmers markets near you that have all kinds, and they'll be fresher than whatever kind I could send you from here. Which city in California is yours? Listen very carefully. I told you that when you're my mail, you should go straight to the point, okay? Really? I don't recall his having told me that. Concerning the $2,500 fee you're supposed to pay, I don't know why you keep talking unreasonable things. I've told you before, if you're not serious on this effing, let me know, okay? I won't repeat myself again. Damien, you have flooded me with so many gosh darn, pardon my language, emails that it is impossible to keep them straight. I just discovered a number of them that I don't believe I have responded to because trying to keep up with approximately 1 billion emails is a bigger challenge than apparently you realize. I will try now to respond to those earlier emails that I think I didn't reply to before. If it turns out I did already reply to some of them, my sincerest apologies for redundantly repeating any individual responses for another time again. I am doing the best I can to keep up with your flood of correspondence. 1. If you think my wanting to know why you want me to pay a mysterious $2,500 fee is unreasonable, you might want to get a quick brain scan. What I want to know is, why won't you just answer my gall-darn question and tell me what it's for? 2. What effing are you talking about? Have you confused me with one of those X-rated websites we've all heard about but which I've never seen or even heard of? 3. I'm glad to hear you won't repeat yourself again. Perhaps that will cut down on the overwhelming number of emails you keep sending me. Hearing that you won't repeat yourself again makes me glad and also hopeful that now we can finish this business. But only once you've answered my gall-dang question about what the mysterious $2,500 fee is for.
You're to send it through Cash App or PayPal, okay. We need to hurry up on this, okay. Well, I think it's time for me to show that I can write brief, concise, and not overly wordy or dense verbose emails that use more words than necessary. So I guess I need to send a check in the amount of $2,500 to IMF. But wait, I thought you work at World Bank. Damien's response is brief. Do you have Cash App or PayPal? Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClenn. I've been waiting for your response on how you want to be receiving your funds every year. I guess the best way to receive my funds every year would be via a cashier's check sent via the U.S. Postal Service. I strongly recommend requiring a signature for delivery, with the verification of delivery provided to you afterward. Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClenn. It's already night here, okay. I checked my spam and saw all your messages. Please, I'll text you when it's morning, okay. Let me have some rest. Good night from here. Best regards. Oh, good. So you found the messages I had sent you. I was starting to think those emails I sent to you must have been just my imagination running away with me again. Do have some rest, and I'll bet in the morning you'll feel 1,000% better. Happy New Month to you, Mr. Robb J. McClenn. I added those party emojis for your benefit to make this endless email journey more like, well, kind of a party. How are your family? I hope you're doing well. Please, we need to hurry up on this funds so you can start receiving your $6.8 million every year, okay? First of all, do you have an account? Damien, I know it's a little late, but Happy New Month to you, too. I hope so far this month has been a good one for you. No members of my family live here, and I haven't talked to any of them since I had to go into the hospital, so I can't say for sure how they are. But if something really bad had happened to them, I'm sure I would have heard about it by now, so I think it's safe to assume they're all doing fine. As far as how I'm doing, I definitely feel more well than I have been feeling. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I was in the hospital for too many days. I still get very tired, especially in between lunch and dinner, so I have to stop whenever I am in the middle of the day to take an afternoon delight nap. When you asked if I have an account, did you mean a bank account? Or is there some other type of account you're asking me about? Well, I guess I'll never know. Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClenn. Good day to you. How are you doing today? What's going on? Damien, good day to you also. I have been doing fairly okay today, except that I'm almost always tired because of a medical incident I endured last week. There's not a lot going on right now. An old colleague of mine, whom I haven't seen for 6 to 10 years, called me up to see if I wanted to join him and some other friends whom I don't know, but he says they're all good guys who are trustworthy, and because of my still being so tired, I could be the driver. I had to remind him that one of the bad things about T.E.S. is you can't drive if you have it. But I was flattered to be asked to be part of his crew, and we talked about other projects we might do together in the future where my muscles could be very helpful. In the meantime, I highly recommended my brother Louis either to be the driver or for his muscles. Louis is my older brother. He was away for several years, but now he's free as a bird, which I know from experience is a great feeling. He has to be in Kokomo next week to attend to some legal matters, but aside from that, if they can wait until he gets back, everyone agrees that everything will work out fine. Oy vey. That exhausted feeling has hit me hard again. I promise that tomorrow I'll continue replying to your other mails that arrived last week when I was dealing with a medical problem. Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClenn. Please talk to me, okay? I'm waiting for your response. Give me your phone number. I can't afford to have my phone number available to the general public, or especially to any government agencies. What will you do with it? Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClenn. What's going on? I've not heard from you since. Damien, didn't you receive the email in which I explained about being in the hospital for several days and nights? I'm sure I already explained that to you, but in case you didn't see it, the reason you haven't heard from me since is that I had to go to the hospital about a week ago. Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClenn. What's going on with you? Are you all right? Damien, I don't wish to sound impolite, but you keep asking what's going on with me, am I all right, etc., and I keep answering, but you keep asking again. Right now, what's going on with me is I'm slowly regaining my strength after spending a number of days in the hospital as the result of a sudden idiopathic T.E.S. flare-up. Okay? I hope that now that is all cleared up for you and understood. I would like to return to the issue of those guys trying to steal my money and how we should deal with them. Don't worry, I wouldn't expect you to get involved in any physical stuff. I assume you work behind a desk all day and probably don't have the specialized type of experience I have. Once I know how many of those crooks are involved in this scheme and what city in California you're in, either I'll be able to handle it all by myself, or if there are more than 6 or 7 of them, I can enlist the assistance of a couple of my cousins if they don't live too far away. Again, thank you for asking if I am all right, but I don't think you need to ask that anymore. Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClen. Please, I don't like the way you're keeping silent on my mails. Let me make it clear to you now, you have to pay only $2,500 because some international monetary fund, IMF, needs to approve your transaction peppers, okay? So your $6.8 million will be transferring to every year, okay? So kindly respond to me immediately. You're supposed to receive your first $6.8 million before 15th June. What do you mean that I've been keeping silent on your emails? I already have answered so many of the many emails you have sent me, and I continue to do so in the exact same order that you sent them to me. It requires quite a bit of time and effort on my part, because of my T.E.S., to answer all those many emails from you. I would think you would appreciate all the extra effort I am making on your behalf to answer every single one of your emails. If you haven't been seeing my replies to your many emails, please check your spam folder again. As I recall, once before this happened, and when you looked in your spam folder, you found a bunch of the emails I already had sent you. I don't expect you to express any sympathy for my having to endure a very unpleasant life or death hospitalization, but it would be nice if at least you acknowledged the ordeal I have been through and showed a little sympathy. I'm sure that's what I would do for you if you had to be in the hospital. Also, you say some international monetary fund, IMF, needs to approve your transaction peppers. This leads to 2 obvious questions that I have to ask because you didn't explain them. 1, you say some international monetary fund. Which one? 2, what are transaction peppers? I am almost certain you are not talking about the kinds of peppers that one of my neighbors grows in his backyard. Or is that really what you do mean? Please explain so that I can understand. P.S. If you don't see this email either, please check your spam folder. Good day to you, Mr. Robb J. McClen. How are you doing today? How is work going? Please, I'm waiting for your response about what I told you, okay? Remember, there's no time on our side, so whatever we're doing, we have to do that fast. Mr. Damien M. Kozlowski. Today was a bit tiring. The doctors say I should try to exercise a little bit more each day until I am back to my full strength, the way I usually am. I tried lifting Barbie bells, but quickly realized I still wasn't strong enough for a regular workout. I wanted to try playing pickleball, which I never even heard of until someone told me about it. According to a colleague of mine with whom I've worked on some big jobs, it's good exercise, even though you don't have to run around or anything like you would with tennis or racquetball. But I could not find a pickleball court, if that's what they're called, anywhere near me. And in response to his entreaty, please, I'm waiting for your response about what I told you, okay? I replied, which thing that you told me are you waiting for my response? If you told me about it in an earlier email that you sent before this one, then I'm sure you must already have received my response because I am answering each of your emails in the exact same order that they arrive on my computer. Have you checked your spam folder to see if what you're asking me about is there? I know exactly what you mean about there's no time on our side. It's funny how time slips away. Not funny as in humor, I mean funny as in weird or frustrating or unrelenting. Because of that, I think we need to act as quickly as possible. Don't you agree? If so, let's do so. Please, I'm waiting for your feedback, okay? Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, I keep saying to you, please look in your spam folder, because I have been feedbacking to every email you have sent me. I certainly am not ignoring you. I had hoped we would have completed this caper by now, but so much of my time is being spent writing back to all the emails you send me. Also, I keep asking you where in California your office is, but I haven't received an answer from you. Unless you finally answered in one of the emails you sent me that I haven't read yet because there are so many, I definitely want to come out there and have a nice chat, if you know what I really mean by that, with those crooks you told me about. But, yet again, please respond to me immediately. Why all this silent? Damian, I am not silent at all. I have been responding to each and every email you have sent me, but you send so many of them, and not only am I not a good typist, also my keyboard keeps sticking. But the keyboard isn't really a big problem. The hardest thing is responding to each and every email you send me. I don't know how you write them so fast, but I am determined not to ignore any of them because I know you wouldn't send me those emails if they weren't important. So I am doing the best I can to reply to each of them in the order you sent them to me, so everything will make sense when you read it. P.S. If you think I am being silent, as I think I mentioned to you before, please look inside your spam folder, and I'll bet you'll find many emails from me. Whatever we're doing now, we have to do that urgently. For you to receive this funds and enjoying your money, how to intend to pay the $2,500, which way can be easier for you to send the $2,500? The easiest way for me to send the $2,500 would be for me to mail you a check. But for that, I would need to know to whom to make the check out to and to what address to mail it to. I also would need to understand what it is for. I know you said it's for something that has to do with documents, but I don't know exactly what it is to which you're referring to. Apparently, Damian has decided to adopt a more stern approach with me. Give me your number if you have. Do that now. Damian, do you mean my check number that I'll be sending you? Or maybe you mean my telephone number? Please clarify to make it clearer to me so I can give you the correct number for which you're asking me for. I mean your telephone number. My telephone number is, and I give a phone number. If I am not home or are asleep, or perhaps on occasion entertaining a lady friend, there is a recording device that asks you to leave your message at the beep sound. When it beeps, you can start talking and it will record whatever you tell it to. This especially applies if when you call it's too late. This might sound funny, but when someone calls too late but leaves the message recording, in a way it feels as though you've got a friend, even though you were sleeping or something. Sometimes the recordings can be too quiet for me to hear, so if you call me but I'm not here but you get sent to the voice recording device, please talk loudly so that your voice won't sound muffled or so far away. Mr. Robb McClenn, I'm waiting for your response concerning the $2,500. Damian, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but before I can send you my response concerning the $2,500, I need to know, 1, what the $2,500 is for, 1B, what are the various methods you want me to choose from to send it to you. Please ELUCIDE me so that we can start making real progress on this venture. P.S. I still need to know in what California city you are headquartered. Did you see that question when I asked it in some of my earlier emails to you? What are you talking about? Listen to me. If you're not serious on receiving your $6.8 million, kindly let me know, okay? So I can stop wasting my time texting you. Who discussed about $45.6 million? Let me repeat myself again. If you're not interested in receiving your $6.8 million, kindly let me know. Now, Damian put that almost smiling emoji at the end.
I have no idea why. Damien, frankly, I'm puzzled by your question. You discussed about $45.6 million when you said to me in one of your emails, and I quote word for word in a verbatim style, "Have you received your $45.6 million and your 2 Chevrolet trucks?" Why are you saying I am wasting your time when it was you who discussed about $45.6 million? P.S. Did you see my question about what city in California your office is in? Hello, Mr. Robb McClen. Good day to you. How are you doing today? Kindly get back to me concerning the $2,500 fee. Dear Damien, thank you for asking how I am doing today. I suffered a little physical setback the other day, but I won't bore you with the details because I think you'd probably find them boring. But I think I am back on the mend, I hope. A couple of times now you've mentioned the $2,500 fee, but you never gave me any of the details. I remember that you said I am supposed to receive $6.8 million every month, but you didn't say anything about $2,500, except for when you mentioned it without explaining what the $2,500 was all about. Please ELUCIDE me what you mean by the $2,500 fee. I hope you are doing well today. For the last time, the $2,500 is for signing of your delivery documents. Really? That's the last time he'll tell me that? Well, we'll see. He continues, listen to me now. If you're here to be asking about past questions, I may just block you and forget about helping you on this deal. I hate to repeat one word every day. Don't ask me that question again, because if you do, I'll block you immediately. What you should be talking about now is how to pay the $2,500 and receive your funds. Get the gift card for $2,500. And there's a lovely illustration of a gift card. I'm still waiting for your response on the fee. When you're responding, please go straight to the point, okay? Well, first of all, I have no idea what would cause him to suggest that I don't already get straight to the point. Damien, straight to the point. You never have explained to me what the doggone heck the fee is all about, what it's for, how it works, etc. Ergo, you have not given me anything to respond to. Mr. Robb J. McClen, I'm waiting for your respond. It's like you're not serious on this. I give you only 24 hours to respond. What makes you say I'm not serious on this? I already told you I am going to come to whichever California city you are in so that I can confront and take care of those crooks who are trying to steal my money. But I can't do that until you tell me what city you're in, which happens to be a question I repeatedly have asked you more than once, but which you keep forgetting to answer. How many times do I have to ask you? Meanwhile, remember Pogue, who briefly interrupted my correspondence with Damien? Well, he's back. I'm from Metro Bank of America. If you're the real Mr. Robb J. McClen, kindly get me your phone number immediately. The funds belong to you, okay? Hello, Pogue Robert Patrick. Of course I'm the real Mr. Robb J. McClen. Has someone tried to convince you that I'm not who I actually am? The person who I'm not is Robb J. McLean. Do you see the difference between those two names? One of them, McClen, has only an E before the N, while the other one, McLean, has both an E and an A before the end. That's what I have been trying to explain to you. To you, that might seem like only words, but words are all I have. As much as I'm sure I would enjoy having $89.2 million, if that money actually belongs to a different person than me, then I shouldn't be spending his or her money when it doesn't belong to me. I'm pretty sure I explained this to you in a previous email that was sent sometime before this one. I do thank you profusely for answering my question about where you work. I've never heard of Metro Bank of America. Of course, I've heard of Bank of America, and once I even went inside one of their branch offices to ask if I could use their restroom, and they said no. Can you believe it? I know I sure can't. But Metro Bank of America, I don't want to sound like a know-it-all, because I don't know it all.
But like lots of other kids, when I was in the 5th grade, we had to memorize all the banks as part of our home economics and finance class, and I'm sure I would remember if Metro Bank of America was on that long list of banks. So I assume you work for a pretty new bank that I haven't heard of until now. As I'm sure you know, I live in Lake Wales. Is the branch you work at anywhere near me? If it is, I would like to suggest that we meet in person to figure this all out. There is one question I asked you previously in my earlier email that you forgot to answer. Where does the $89.2 million come from? Given my past history, I can't afford to get mixed up in anything that isn't what the police call strictly kosher. That's why I had to ask you those 3 questions previously in my earlier email. As they say in Italy, an ounce of caution is worth a pound of prevention. I don't know how to say it in the original Italian, but that's what it sounds like when translated into English. So if you would please answer just that last question that you haven't answered yet, hopefully we can move forward in a more rewarding discussion of what it is you need and how it involves me. Or if it doesn't actually involve me at all, but instead involves someone named Matt Clean instead of McClen or Matt Clen, which is not who I am. Maybe most people would jump at the chance to get $89.2 million, even if it really belongs to someone else. But if I was that other person and somebody else took my $89.2 million, I would be very upset, and not in a good way. Pogue, I am not trying to be difficult with you. I can tell you are trying to be helpful to me rather than some sort of nuisance. Please explain where the $89.2 million comes from and why you think it is supposed to go to me, even though my name isn't the same as the name of the person you said it actually belongs to. A week later, I receive a reply from Pogue's email address, but it's not from Pogue. It's from someone named Martha Yawa Tsitsiwu. Text me on this number, and she gives a phone number, or you can call me, okay? Wait a minute. This sounds like some scammer who's trying to trick me out of my money. Who are you? I've never heard of you before. What happened to Pogue? Is he okay? Why are you, a complete stranger, using Pogue's email address to contact me? I am an adult, not a teenager. I don't text. Why do you want me to call you? I don't just give out my telephone number willy-nilly in a haphazard fashion. If you are a telemarketer who wants to try to sell me something, I have purchased more than enough crappy items already. Martha's reply is hardly convincing. Pogue said I should contact you concerning your funds. Nice try, Martha Yawa Tsitsiwu. Yes, I know it's you and not really Damien and Kozlowski. I happen to be good friends with Damien, and erasing your name from the email and replacing it with Damien's is not going to fool anyone, especially me. I am going to alert Damien immediately to the fact that you are pretending to be him. I have no intention of writing to you again, because I don't correspond with fakers and frauds. But if I were to write to you again, I'll bet to get it delivered to you I'd have to send it in care of the Birmingham jail. I don't think Damien is going to be very happy when I tell him what you're doing. Cordially, Robb McClen. I'm the one in charge of delivery, okay? Ask Damien about that. Martha Yawa Tsitsiwu, or whoever you are, really, you're the one in charge of delivery, and you just show up out of nowhere telling me to text you, which anyone who knows me knows I don't do, without explaining who you are or what your job title is or who you work for or anything? And you seem to have a habit of sending emails from other people's accounts. First you send me an email that says it's actually from Pogue's account, and then you send me an email that comes from your personal account, but you change the name of the sender, which is known as spoofing, as if you didn't know, so that it looks as though it was sent not by you, but by Damien M. Kozlowski? Like I said before, nice try and thanks, but no thanks. You pretend to work with Pogue and with Damien, which is where you make your biggest mistake that exposes your little game of fraud. Pogue works for Metro Bank of America, while Damien works for World Bank. In case you did not know this, Metro Bank of America and World Bank are not the same bank. And you want me to text or call you at a phone number in the 210 area code, which is in Texas, which is not where the World Bank is. If you work for World Bank, kindly tell me the bank's complete mailing address and main phone number. You have gotten in way over your head, Missy, and you're going to learn the hard way instead of the easy way what happens when you attempt to defraud the wrong person. At the moment, I don't know when it will be, but someday soon, don't be surprised if you receive a visit from some friends of mine. When it comes to engaging in illegal activities, all I can tell you is I have experienced the results from both sides now, and neither is very pleasant. Meanwhile, I think I need to warn Damien about this fake scammer who's pretending to be the real scammer. Dear Damien M. Kozlowski, I know that you want me to continue to answer your many emails in the exact order in which I received them, but I have to interrupt my answers for a moment while I rush this urgent message to you. Recently I was contacted by someone named Pogue Robert Patrick, who had thought I was someone named Robb J. McLean. He seemed to be a nice enough chap, but no matter how well I explained it to him, he just couldn't seem to understand that McLean and McLean are completely different names and that those names are from completely different people. The next thing I knew, I received an email from Pogue's address, but with a completely different person's name on it, Martha Yawa Tsitsiwu. She wanted me to send her a text, which of course is ridiculous because anyone who knows me knows I never send texts to anyone. Or she said I could call her instead. Unfortunately for her, I didn't just fall off the potato wagon. I didn't get where I am today by calling a complete stranger who thinks I'm stupid enough not to know enough not to call a complete stranger who is trying to fool me by pretending to be someone else. Instead, I demanded to know what happened to Pogue. You won't believe what happened next. She emailed me back saying that Pogue told her to contact me, but you'll never guess whose name she put on that email. She pretended that she was you. She changed the name of the email sender from her name to Damien M. Kozlowski, which just happens to be your name. Obviously, she had no idea I already know you quite well, and that you and I have been enjoying a detailed, albeit exhausting, email conversation for a goodly amount of time now. Meanwhile, I don't have any idea who she really is, or how she got my email address, or what she wants, or why she's pretending to be you, but I knew you would want to know about this ASAP, as soon as possible. If you want to have her investigated, her email address is, and I give the email address, and her phone number, the one she wanted me to text her at or to call her on, and I give the phone number. That is all the information I have about her, but I hope it's enough for you to get from the top to the bottom of all this. Please use caution, however. All we really know about her is she is some sort of criminal. We don't know what her game is, or if any other imposters are involved. Obviously, they are up to no good, and I think it's safe to assume they like to do crimes, and it's always possible that those crimes may or may not be dangerous. I am sorry to be the person who has to bring this news to you. I can imagine how upsetting this news is for you to hear. I guess this must be the time of the season for criminals to do their crimes. If you do track her down and demand to know what is going on, whatever scheme or scam she tries to bring you into, I strongly recommend that you tell her no. Please do be careful if you decide to investigate this. If you are able to get her arrested for falsely pretending to impersonate you, I would be willing to testify against her if necessary. Usually, when I am in court, I don't answer any questions, which is my legal right, but I would break my own rule and answer any questions the police or a judge wants to ask me about this one specific thing that we're talking about and not about anything else. Damien tries to reassure me. Yes, she's one of our workers, okay. Her name is Ms. Martha Yawa Tsitsiwu. And less than an hour later, Damien adds, don't let her know the deal we're about to carry on.
Then, of course, almost immediately, yet another falls into my inbox, and it sounds a familiar refrain. When are you going to send the $2,500? We don't have much time, okay? You need to respond to me concerning the $2,500? And my familiar reply, Dear Damian M. Kozlowski, I cannot send you the $2,500 until you explain to me what it is for. I believe I mentioned that to you previously. Okay, you're to pay the $2,500, so when are you going to pay it? Good grief, Charlie Brown. How many times are you going to ask me when I'm going to pay the $2,500 when you never ever have explained what that $2,500 is all about? I don't know how many times I have to tell you. I have no idea what $2,500 you are talking about. I have to admit that this is getting very frustrating. I feel as though I'm corresponding with one of those chat computers that gives me the same non-answer over and over again without including the actual answer to my question. I am sure that in your job at World Bank you are extremely busy, but I really thought we would have finished this entire operation by now. What I keep asking you: 1. What is the $2,500 all about? 2. What California city are you located in? Please take just a moment to fill in those 2 blanks, which at the moment, both of which are empty. Finally, Damian responds with direct answers to my direct questions. 1. What is the $2,500 all about? Answer. The $2,500 is for signing of your delivery documents and for your delivery expenses. 2. Which California city are you located in? Answer. I'm Los Angeles, California, and you're not coming here because it has no value. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, I understand, I think, that the $2,500 has something to do with signing of my delivery documents, but I don't know what that something is. Are you saying I have to sign for the delivery and pay $2,500? Why would that be? As for the California city in which you are located in, yes, after I kept asking you multiple times repeatedly, finally you told me the office is in Los Angeles. I don't know why you were so reluctant to reveal the name of World Bank City, unless maybe you share Governor Brown's concern about it getting too crowded there. But I don't see how my coming there for just a few days would noticeably add to that problem. After all, I'm only one man. Plus, probably 3 or 4 friends to help me talk to the crooks who are trying to steal my money. But it is good finally to know that you're in Los Angeles and not in Lodi or Daly City or somewhere like that. Why are you going round and round in circles? Are you new at your job at World Bank? If so, I'd like to talk to someone with a bit more experience and understanding of how to do your job. I told you that you have from now till 15th June for us to get this done, else you'll lose funds, and you're talking past tense. This probably is a good point to pause the narrative just long enough to elucide you regarding something you may have wondered about. If you're like me, and I know I am, you've noticed scammers refer to talking past tense in some of our other videos too, and wondered what they actually meant, what got lost in the translation from the scammer's vocabulary to a native English vocabulary. So I went ahead and invented the internet, and then I asked the internet to explain what that phrase means.
The phrase, stop bringing past tense, is likely a direct translation from Nigerian Pidgin English. In Nigerian Pidgin, this phrase would be understood as, stop bringing up the past, or stop talking about past events. Essentially, the person is asking you to stop mentioning or dwelling on past issues or events and focus on the present or future.
So now we all know. Meanwhile, Damian has been patiently waiting for me to reply. Dear Damian M. Kozlowski, this is the first time you have spoken of a 15th June deadline to get this thing completed. In one of your previous emails that you sent earlier before this one, you did mention 15th June, but you didn't say we'd lose my funds if I talked in past tense. I keep trying to get you to give me straight answers to 1 or 2 easy, for you, questions, but for some reason you refuse to do so and instead just keep me hanging on. Meanwhile, the crooks who are trying to steal my money apparently are free as a bird. I keep asking what California city your office is in so that, with a little help from my friends, most of whom have a lot of experience solving problems, if you know what I mean, I can teach those crooks a lesson. But for some reason, you seem perfectly happy just to let it be. Because you insist on doing nothing while we need to do something, at this point I must insist that your supervisor takes over this entire operation. Probably he or she has a lot more experience at handling this kind of thing, which it seems to me is just what we need. I've told you several times there's nothing we can do to them. I don't know why you're not talking on how you can receive your money. Now that everything is set, all you need to do is send the $2,500 so you can receive your funds today or tomorrow. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, I have to be very careful how I put this because I don't want the wrong people to misunderstand what I mean. While there may be nothing you and your colleagues at World Bank can do to those crooks who tried to steal my money, some friends and I have our own unique and very effective methods of dealing with such scumbags. It is best for you if you don't know any of the details. That way you won't have to worry about becoming personally involved in our face-to-face conversation with those people, if you know who I mean, which I'm sure you do. I didn't always know how to handle situations similar to the one we find ourselves in now. I'd rather not go into any of the details, because this was when I was quite young and foolish and had a really bad temper. Let's just say that before I was 21 years old, which certainly seems like a long time ago, I fought the law, and the law won. Ever since then, I have been careful never to be caught breaking the law, which of course I never would do, or leaving witnesses. I don't mean I would remove a witness. That would be both wrong and illegal. I just mean I don't do certain things in front of certain witnesses, if you know what I mean. Please do not worry. You will not be at all involved in whatever my friends and I do in Los Angeles, and I personally will make sure there is nothing to connect you to whatever happens, even though, of course, whatever happens will be 100% completely illegal. 2 of the 3 friends I am bringing with me are from Allentown, if you know what I mean. As the saying goes, only the good die young, and I assure you all 3 of them are very much alive, as am I. I understand your worry about something going wrong or one of them talking too much afterward, but I, as an innocent man, can assure you that it's all a matter of trust. You have nothing to worry about. In fact, my 3 friends don't even know your name. You can just take it easy. Don't worry about anything, and one of these nights your worries will be already gone. You say, I don't know why you're not talking on how you can receive your money. Have you not been receiving my emails to you? I must have told you at least 5 times, maybe even more than that, to just put a cashier's check in the mail to me. I also said you could deduct the cost of the postage from my fund. Now, I am beginning to become concerned. If my emails haven't been reaching you, then who have they been going to? Or maybe some of them have ended up in your spam folder, the place in your email where they automatically put what looks like junk. Please advise soonest. If someone else is receiving some of your emails, we should find out who that is and what's the best way to deal with them. P.S. Please advise soonest. What you should be talking about now is how to get this $2,500 paid, else you'll lose your funds. Dear Damian M. Kozlowski, what $2,500? How many times do I have to ask you? In sincerity, Robb McClellan. This is what I want to hear from you, Mr. Robb J. McClellan. Dear Damian M. Kozlowski, what is what you want to hear from me? You keep sending me emails that are filled with nonsense. It is time to stop playing around and get down to serious business. And who is it really making up your mind? It seems to me it's about time for you to pay attention to the magistrate. Or at least I need to hear from your supervisor so that we can make sure those crooks get what they deserve and so I can finally receive my $6.8 million every month, starting at least 1 month ago. What kind of rubbish question is that? Don't you know documents? I can see that you're not serious on receiving this funds. I think I should just let them claim the money. because you're not making any sense of interested. Dear Damian M. Kozlowski, which question are you calling rubbish? What documents are you asking if I know them? I must beg to differ, sir. I definitely am making any sense of interested. Why won't you answer my questions? What is it you are trying to hide from me, and maybe from some others? First of all, didn't you saw your ownership certificate? Yes, I saw my ownership certificate. Didn't you see my earlier emails that I sent previously, in which I said how nice it looked and everything? This is becoming a big worry. It sounds as though you're not receiving all of my emails, and if you're not receiving them, who is? Why should you come here? Your coming here has no value. You're to pay the $2,500 for your documents to be signed so we can proceed on this transaction immediately. Dear Damian M. Kozlowski, I should come there so I can look those crooks squarely in their eyes and give them what for, if you know what I mean. Why is that such a problem for you? Who is it who charges $2,500 just to sign some documents? That's an outrageous fee just for signing a piece of paper, or even 2 pieces of paper if it's that many. I know lots of people who will charge a lot less. The only thing holding is the $2,500 for the document signing fee. Dear Damian M. Kozlowski, the only things holding the $2,500 are an explanation of what the hell it is for and who am I supposed to send it to. But I will not send it to anyone without knowing what the hell it is for. Damian responds, I'll send mine to them today, and I'll tell them to email you okay. Send the $2,000 to them and also send your home address to them. Damian, one of your previous emails that you sent to me earlier must have gotten lost, because I have no idea who the them to which you refer is. I don't know if they have emailed me yet because I don't know whose name to look for on any email they send me, whoever they are. Did they say they were going to email me? If so, did they tell you on what day they expect that email to arrive in my inbox? I really would not feel comfortable sending $2,000 to people who I don't know what they are or what their address is. I don't mind giving my home address to friends and business associates, but I don't know about whom you are speaking or how, even if I wanted to, I wouldn't know how to send them my home address or anything. This all seems to be getting needlessly confusing. Please ELUCIDE me about to whom you are referring. Probably that will clear things up once and for all, and at last we can complete this, except for certain unfinished business some friends and I plan to take care of in Los Angeles, but I think it's better for you not to know any of those details, just in case some local government agency takes an undue interest in my activities while in the City of Angels. You can go to any store that sells gift cards and buy Razor Gold gift card for $2,500, okay? Let me know when you buy it. And a few minutes later, Damian decides to add even more persuasion. Let me show you an example of the documents. I have to admit, that's a pretty impressive document, and it certainly looks genuine. This lady received her own since April 20th. We need to hurry up on this, okay? Kindly get the $2,500 Razor Gold gift card, $500 times 5. Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClenn. I'm waiting for you about the $2,500. You need to send the $2,500 as soon as today or tomorrow. Dear Damian M. Kozlowski, what are the different ways that I can send the $2,500? Once I know what they are, I can figure out which way can be easier to send it. Also, what is the $2,500 for? You can send the $2,500 through gift cards. Once you send, your transaction approval documents will be signed, and U.S. Postal Service will deliver your check as soon as today or tomorrow. I hate to sound like a broken record. If you remember records, often they would break. But although you keep talking about the $2,500 and I keep asking you what the $2,500 is for, I can't seem to obtain an explanation from you other than to say it has something to do with documents. Please elucidate, and that was an error on Robb's part, he should have said ELUCIDE, me regarding this matter. I am as tired of asking you as I am sure you're tired of not answering. Gift cards. I've never heard of gift cards that contain money, except for maybe when it's my Uncle Albert, or if you want to be all formal and everything, Admiral Halsey would send me a birthday card with a $5 bill tucked inside the card so no one could see it from the outside of the envelope. I don't know the dollar limit for their gift cards, but I could see if Men's Warehouse will let me buy a $2,500 gift card, which you then could use to select up to $2,500 of clothing. But you'd have to go there to pick out what you want, so I don't know how practical that idea would be. Anyway, please do let me know ASAP exactly what this $2,500 is for, and also if you like Men's Warehouse. Go to any store and get Razor Gold gift cards for $2,500? I am sorry, but never have I heard of either Razor Gold or Razor Gold gift cards. I've always used Gillette, but I don't know if they even have gift cards. I checked on Amazon.com. Probably they have one of those near you too. They sell 12 refills for $42.94. $2,500 would buy approximately 58 packages of 12 refills each, for a total of almost 700 refills. I don't know how often you use one of yours before replacing it with a refill, but I try to change them every few months. At that rate, they would last for almost 2,800 shaves. If you change them more often than that, of course, they wouldn't last as long, but still, that's an awful lot of blades. And although I admit I'm not an expert on banking, I don't understand why World Bank would want them, unless maybe as Christmas presents for all of the male and some of the female employees. Please let me know. I really would like to conclude this transaction. It seems as though it's been dragging on for months now. Damien quickly responds somewhat cryptically, but if there's one thing I'm good at doing between the lines, it's reading. You have to do that in the morning, okay? Damien, I think that's a matter of personal taste. As it happens, I do that in the morning, but if somebody, say, works a night shift and sleeps during the daytime, I can see where they might prefer to do it in the evening. But all in all, at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, I think it's a matter of personal preference. But although this is undeniably interesting, we seem to have strayed from the topic we are supposed to be talking about. Having my $6.8 million delivered to me. I would really like that to happen this week, if not sooner. Purchase the card okay, and let me know when you got it. Razor Gold gift card, $500 times 5 equals $2,500. If you can get the card today, you'll receive your funds by tomorrow evening, okay? And the next communique from Damien responds again to a couple of key questions. How many times will I tell you that it's for your document signing fee? I'm at Los Angeles. Damien, you do not need to tell me again that it's a document signing fee. You do, however, still need to explain to me what the heck a document signing fee is. Certainly, no one at your bank charges $2,500 just to sign a document, don't you agree? You're in Los Angeles? Great. I like Los Angeles a lot, and it's easy to get a nonstop flight from here to there and then back to here when I'm done. What part of Los Angeles? Downtown? Beverly Hills? Boyle Heights? Santa Clarita? Bakersfield? Please give me the exact address of World Bank in Los Angeles so I can find it on a map. That will help me decide whether or not I'll need to rent a car when I arrive there. Or maybe I can just take an Uber or even walk from the airport to your office if it's close enough. I am very much looking forward to meeting you and signing all the paperwork and everything in person, face to face in our Italian restaurant. We can get a table near the street, which would enable us to eat the best, in my opinion, Italian food in Los Angeles with a perfect, in my opinion, view of any drive-by shootings that happen to occur. Don't worry, though. We will be perfectly safe. I hope you saw what I sent to you concerning how you can pay the $2,500. Yes, I just now saw it. It looks exceptionally cool with an amazing design. I don't know if you recall the Batman credit cards, but it kind of reminds me of that. Meanwhile, what's the status of those crooks who tried to steal my money? Are they in jail? Yes, sir, they're in jail now, sir. All you need to do now is to go to a store and get the Razor Gold card or Apple card so we can get all this done today. That's great news about those crooks now being in jail. I have just 2 quick questions for you. Question number 1. Which jail are they in? Downtown? Lincoln Heights? Brentwood? Question number 2. How many of them are in the gang, if that's what it's called? This is very wonderful news, and I look forward to paying them a visit behind bars. They would be behind bars, during my time in Los Angeles. You can go to any store and get any of these cards for $2,000. And here we see images of gift cards from Walmart, Steam, Razor, and Foot Locker. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, a card that cost $2,000? That's crazy. I don't mean you're crazy. I'm talking about $2,000 for a card. There is a Walmart around here, but it's actually a Walmart supercenter, which I won't go to on principle and also because of the whole thing with China. I think there's also a Foot Locker here or close to it, but I've never been inside it because I have to wear Bedorthic shoes, which I ordered directly from Amazon. I've never heard of a store called Steam. If I had to guess, I'd guess that's some sort of place like I've seen in movies where people, always men, I'm afraid, take steam baths and talk about business things. But I've never even heard of that store, so I'm sure we don't have them around here. And Damien, I'm sorry, but I've never heard of or purchased or used a razor, which is why I've already told you that several times by now. Rather than talking about capitalist commerce and stuff like that, I think we should focus on planning my trip to Los Angeles next week, don't you? Looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending upon when my flight gets there. And now it appears that Damien has accidentally sent me a message that was intended to go to another of his victims. Contributing to his confusion might be the fact that he sent this one and his next one within the same minute. But it looks as though he may have been a little too quick with his email trigger finger. Who told you about the $45.6 million? $45.6 million? Nobody told me about that. What is the $45.6 million all about? And this is the other email he sent that very same minute, which I think is the one he had intended to send to me. Why are you lying on me? Damien, what? I am not lying on you, and I am offended that you would even think of suggesting such a thing. If you don't believe me, when I get to Los Angeles, I will take a lying detector test and everything. But maybe I just won't come to Los Angeles after all. I don't need to travel all the way across the country to be accused of lying on somebody. If I want to be insulted and have my character questioned, I can get that done around here if necessary. I thought we were friends, Damien, but none of my friends would dare to accuse me of lying on them because they know what the consequences would be. I think you probably agree that an apology is called for here, from you to me, and also an explanation of why you would say such a thing. 2 minutes later, I received 2 more emails from Damien, once again sent within a single minute. Listen to me, enough of all this. What you should be concerned now is how you can send the $2,500 for your funds to get to you as soon as possible. Dear Damien M. Kozlowski, no, I should be concerned now is on how you said I was lying on you. I am waiting for an explanation and a sincere, contrite apology from you. And this is the second of his second pair of emails sent at the same minute with a message that might sound familiar. Why are you lying? Dear Damien M. Kozlowski, that makes 2 times you have said I am lying. Maybe you can get away with talking that way to your colleagues at World Bank, but nobody ever said I am lying without there being very, very serious consequences. And I don't mean for me. What the hell is going on? If you are going to continue to hurl such insults at my A1 reputation, then I think I should speak with your supervisor. What is your supervisor's name and email address? I'm sorry about that, okay? But don't need to come over here, okay? Damien, I accept your apology. For a lot of people, sorry seems to be the hardest word. I hope all of us have learned a valuable lesson from this. I know I don't need to come over there, okay? But in the words of pickleball champion Peter Drucker, the most important thing in communication is hearing what isn't said. That, in a nutshell, is why I know it is best for me to be there in person to deal with any unexpected developments that surprise us by developing unexpectedly. It's the element of unexpectedness that lays the foundation of developments that catch us by surprise, which of course violates the #1 rule of business. Under no circumstances allow yourself to be caught by surprise. Hello, Mr. Rob J. McClen. Here's the card you should get okay. Get it and I'll tell you how to send it okay. $500 times 5 okay. And as you can see, he includes this lovely green image of the gift card. Thank you for sending me the $500 digital-only razor card. It looks very cool, as the kids say. How do I redeem it? That's just an example of what you're to get, okay? Oh, no wonder I couldn't figure out how to redeem that card. Please don't bother to send it to me. As I believe I explained earlier, I don't use razor. Ever since my father taught me how to shave when I was 9, I've always used the Star Safety Razor, and I plan to keep doing so as a tribute to my dad. Hello, Mr. Rob J. McClen. You need to get the gift cards by tomorrow morning? What gift cards? How am I supposed to know what kinds of things you like? Plus, I really don't feel like buying you a gift in view of the fact that very recently you accused me of lying on you. How many times will I explain this to you? Are you having ear problems? Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, how many times do you have to explain what to me? What are you talking about? Fortunately, I am not having ear problems. Why did you think that maybe I was? I was in the hospital for several days previous to this, but while T.E.S. by definition causes serious eye problems, I've never heard of it causing ear problems. Or did you actually mean to ask if after that most recent hospitalization I'm still experiencing some sort of lingering eye problems? If so, at the moment I am symptom-free, as far as I know. At any rate, I thank you for your concern. I don't want to change the subject, but on another topic, I want to remind you that I still am waiting to find out the best dates for me to come to your Los Angeles office and take care of those crooks and those documents. Other than the 4th of July, which I believe they celebrate in Los Angeles, as well as here in Florida, there are no big holidays on the calendar for a while. Maybe it's best to wait until after the 4th of July. For example, maybe the 5th or 6th of July. That way you're sure to be in your office at World Bank, and I shouldn't have any problem getting an airline ticket at a good price. Please advise read the earliest convenient date for you as soon as you can. You don't need to come over here, Mr. Rob J. McClen. How many times will I tell you that? Your coming here makes no sense, okay? If you don't want me to help you get your $6.8 million to you, kindly let me know, okay? What's all this? You're just wasting my energy and time. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, thank you for your concern about not wanting me to spend the extra money it will cost for me to come to Los Angeles. But with the $6.8 million, instead of flying economy, I can afford to fly economy plus and still have plenty of money left over. That will also eliminate the hassle of my going to a store and buying a razor card, which previously I have indicated in an earlier email prior to this one that I don't do. And of course, I know the police department will want me there to make a positive ID on those criminals. When someone tries to steal something of mine that belongs to me, I take it very personally. That's why I plan to have a few friends of mine who live in Los Angeles help me take care of those crooks. I hope they have good health insurance. Not that I'm going to hurt them, but just in case they happen to have some sort of accident. Finally, and I certainly hope this doesn't hurt your feelings, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm sure you agree there is a noticeable amount of irony in your saying I'm just wasting your energy and time when I have to spend so much time and effort answering all of your emails. Sometimes you have sent me 10 or 15 emails in a single day, which puts a lot of pressure on me to answer them in a timely manner. In fact, I think probably we could have concluded this entire transaction if only 1, you didn't send me so many emails each day, 2, you would answer my questions the first time I asked them, rather than making me ask repeatedly before you give me the basic, vital information I need. Plus, with your responsibilities at World Bank, I'm sure you have lots of other highly important things to do as part of your job. I don't want to end up inadvertently contributing to your falling behind in the rest of your work there. Hello, Mr. Rob J. McClellan. Why are you silent on me? Kindly respond to let me know when you're sending the $2,500. Damien, I must admit I am confuddled by your question. I am not silent on you. I have been dutifully and painstakingly answering each and every one of the very many emails you have been sending me in the chronological order according to which ones arrived first. That can hardly be considered the sound of silence, can it? Why do you say I'm silent on you? It seems that almost the only thing I have time to do these days is respond to your many, many well-written but obtuse emails. That doesn't include the 2 times per day when I take Mrs. Robinson's Rottweiler, a dog, Julio, for his walk, because she recently had hip surgery and can't walk for a while. So twice a day, like a finely tuned calendar, you can find me and Julio down by the schoolyard. He prefers the grassy area behind the bleachers on the football field, which I guess makes it sort of treacherous for anyone who walks there. But that's almost all kids, so it's not like there's anything they can do about it. Anyway, I have not been silent on you. Please explain what you mean. I don't want to repeat myself again, else I'll just delete you from my phone. I don't tolerate nonsense, okay? Mr. Damien M. Kozlowski, I know what you mean about not wanting to repeat yourself again. One of the first things my parents taught me was, say something once, why say it again? I've always thought those were good words to live by. They kept telling me that a lot, and it was always valuable to hear. And as you can see, I remember it even to this day. Why are you deleting me from your phone? I don't think you've ever even called me, and I'm pretty sure I never called you. Or are you on one of those budget telephone plans that Debbie Reynolds' son keeps advertising, even though I'm not interested in it? I use WorldCom, and it's pretty good, I guess. If you're looking for a better telephone plan, you might want to check them out. I'm not crazy about nonsense either, but some performers are so good at it that you just can't help but laugh. People such as Benny Hill and Richard Burton, to name just a few. I believe, however, we now seem to be off on a tangent that isn't helping me get my $6.8 million dollars. Perhaps we should just stick to business and save the chit-chat for some other time. I'm waiting for your response considering the $2,500. You're delaying your funds. Get the $2,500 Razor Gold card. And there's another picture of it. Damien, I still think that is a very cool looking card, but I already explained to you that we don't have those here. Look, rather than wasting our time talking about razors and things, just go ahead and deduct the mysterious $2,500 from my $6.8 million dollars. I still don't know why that $2,500 is necessary, but I suppose I won't miss it too much out of $6.8 million dollars. If you don't mind, you can put it the $6.8 million dollars minus $2,500, which equals $6.797.5 million dollars into a cashier's check and mail it to me at the address you already have on file for me. I think that will save both of us a lot of frustration, and I'm sure you have other important duties and tasks to attend to, okay? Damien seems less than enthusiastic about that plan. It can be deducted from your funds. It's against the rules, okay? You're to get $2,500 as a card. I've told you to go to store and you'll the card. There are stores like Dollar's Stores, CVS Pharmacy Store, Family Store, and many other store. Damien, I do not understand what you're saying. First you say, and I quote you verbatim, word for word, it can be deducted from your funds, which of course is true. But then you say, it's against the rules, okay. Once again, I am quoting you verbatim, every word. Both of those statements cannot be true, and obviously the first one is the correct one, while the second one is incorrect. Do you understand now? Hello, Mr. Rob J. McClellan. I'm very angry at you because you should have received your funds by now, but you keep delaying our time. Kindly get the $2,500 so you can receive your funds by Monday. Frankly, I'm puzzled. Why are you angry that I haven't received my funds now? I'm the one who should be angry, and frankly, I am angry, or at least very annoyed and miffed. Just go ahead and deduct the still unexplained $2,500 from my $6.8 million and send all the rest of it to me in a cashier's check, okay? Thank you for your prompt assistance in this matter. I've explained to you everything that you need to know. Your funds are ready to be delivered to you. Send the $2,500 now. By Monday, you'll receive your funds. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, it is now Wednesday, 2 days later than Monday, and I haven't yet received my funds. Do you have a tracking number so I can ask the post office to find out where it is and deliver it to me already? I could really use that money. Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClellan. I've been waiting for your text okay. Please text me, let me know what's going on okay. Your funds will be ready for delivery by tomorrow, so please get the $2,500 Razor Gold card this afternoon okay. Damien, I don't know why you've been waiting for my text okay. I keep telling you over and over repeatedly that I don't text. Maybe everybody in Los Angeles does that. But around here, we do things the old-fashioned, tried-and-true way. We talk on the phone, or we write letters, or we send emails. There is a woman who lives 2 streets over who claims to be able to psychically transmit thoughts from her mind, but I think she's full of you-know-what, if you know what I mean. On another note, you said my funds would be delivered by tomorrow, which by now is a number of days ago, but no funds have been delivered yet. Do you have a tracking number that I could use to find out where it is? Finally, but not last, I still have no idea what Razor Gold is, so please stop telling me to get one. I hope the heat wave isn't causing you too much discomfort. I assume the World Bank offices are air-conditioned, which I would think would help a lot from this heat wave. P.S. Please do remember to send me the tracking number so I can investigate and find out what's going on. If I have the tracking number to prove everything, then they've got to give it up, even if at first they try to pretend they don't know what I'm talking about. Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClellan. I didn't hear from you today. Happy Father's Day to you. I hope you're doing well. Please respond to me. Let me know what's going on. Damien, thank you so much for the Happy Father's Day greeting. I hope you had a happy one too. Do you have children? Sadly, I don't have any. Originally, Maybellene had told me she wanted to have children until later on when her sister sat her down and explained how it's done, and then she wasn't interested anymore. But that didn't stop me from thinking about my own father on Father's Day, as I'm sure it didn't yours either. I hope you don't think this is too personal a question. Do you have children? If so, how many? I've answered this question several times. I don't know why you can't see my answers. Now for the last time, the $2,500 you're paying will be used for signing of your delivery documents, and it'll also be used for the delivering of your money. Are you cleared now? Which question have you answered several times? The only question I remember that I have asked you more than one time is the one that I cannot get an answer to. Why in the world should it cost $2,500 to sign some documents? When I am in Los Angeles, I guess now we'll have to wait until after all the big 4th of July celebrations, which I know are a big Los Angeles tradition, are over, to have a talk with those crooks who you caught trying to steal my money. I can sign the document in 2 seconds, or 3 at the most. I'll bring my own pen, so you won't have to worry about that. I won't need to use up any of World Bank's ink at all. Oh, wait. This time I see you are saying the $2,500 will be used for the delivering of my money. I believe that is the first time you've ever told me that. $2,500 is way too much to spend for delivery. You can just put the check in a sealed number 10 envelope and drop it in the mail with the U.S. Postal Service. They will give you a tracking number and everything so you won't wonder where it is. First-class postage is only something like 55 cents. I will be glad to send you $1, and you can keep however much is left over after paying for the postage to cover it. Actually, I think I am getting an idea. You don't even have to mail it to me. I'll just pick it up at your office while I'm in Los Angeles. Well, I cannot come this week because the last-minute airplane cost will be so high. I could come late next week and make everything completely cleared. How does Thursday, July 13 sound to you? That same day, yet another email from Damien. How are you doing today? Mr. Damien M. Kozlowski. Okay, except for the intense heat that I think I mentioned earlier in a previous email. It's a real heat wave here. I am hoping maybe to get someone to give me a ride to the Blue Bayou where I could swim and cool off a little bit. How are you doing? I am guessing that the reason the funds haven't yet been transferred to me are because World Bank, like all banks around here, is closed for the July 4th holiday, which this year actually begins on July 2 or 3, which I really don't understand. Once you are back in the office, perhaps we can hurry up and finish this financial thing of ours. It seems to me we have been sending emails back and forth to each other for a long, long time, and I'm sure we both have other things to do that need to be done too. I mean, things unrelated to our business together. Oh, P.S. With all this heat, I temporarily forgot that I have to fly out to Los Angeles to meet with those crooks we have been talking about. Probably it is best for you if I don't go into the details of what my friends and I will do to them when finally we meet them. Although, of course, we don't plan to do anything to them because we'd never break the law or anything. Probably we'll just talk to them. Hello, dear Mr. Robb J. McClellan. Congratulations to you, sir. We're progressing. I have a good news for you. Mr. Damien M. Kozlowski. Thank you so much. I love good news. As Andy Warhol famously declared, the news is like a ship. You take your eyes off it for a moment, and it's gone. Again, thank you. I worked very hard to make sure I get done today. Please, sir, read it well, okay? And then, 1 minute later, another message from Damien. Please let me know once you received your ownership certificate, okay? Keep it safe, sir. Mr. Damien M. Kozlowski, thank you for sending me that copy of the approval certificate. It looks as though your hard work has paid off. What is that symbol that appears in the four corners of the certificate? I mean the square with a green thing inside? My only two guesses are a snake, some of which are green, I guess, or an old-fashioned telephone with the part that you hold in your hand and talk and listen into. I'm guessing those two guesses are incorrect, but I can't think of what else it might be. Please ELUCIDE me about that because of my intense curiosity. There are only two other things that I don't quite understand, but I know that you already know about them, and these probably will sound advanced elementary to you. What are ikamas? You know where it says the United Nation and the ikamas? That's a word I'm certain I've never heard before. I can't find it in the dictionary, so I'm guessing ikamas is something that's pretty new, if I can't find it in the dictionary. Please ELUCIDE me regarding its meaning. This is something I asked you about once before, but you must have been too busy to answer me. In almost all of your emails, you say my funds equals 6,800,000 United States dollars. But once before, and now once again on this beautiful certificate, it says the sum of $6.8 million to be receiving by Mr. Robb J. McClellan every year. Am I supposed to receive the sum of $6.8 million once? Or do I receive it every year? Although I must admit, math is not my strong subject, it seems to me that every year would result in a lot more money arriving here than if it is just one time. If you'll take just a moment to clarify whether it's just one time or it's every year, that probably would clear up any confusion I might be experiencing about it. Thank you. The next email from Damien arrives 20 minutes later, bearing its own subject line. Read, God is with us, sir. And attached to the email is a second copy of the certificate he sent me 20 minutes earlier. Damien, I just opened your email that contained another beautiful copy of the approval certificate, which I enjoyed looking at again and remembering the first time you sent it to me. But I don't see any words that came along with it in that same email, so I decided I've got to get a message to you to ask if you had intended to include any words, or if instead you deliberately sent it Massachusetts style, where the picture says so much that no words are needed. Get the $2,500 Apple gift certificate and send it today? Don't you remember that you already talked about Apple gift cards and I told you I don't send gift cards? If I may make a suggestion, probably it would be a lot easier for you to keep track of all this if you took notes on what you said and when you said it, as well as what I said back and when I said it. I don't presume to tell you how to do your job, because I don't know how to do it and I'm not even sure exactly what your job title is. If you hate taking notes, then probably you want to remember harder for the future. That's the only way you can receive your funds? Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, I think you are getting very confused. I didn't get where I am today by telling someone he appears to be in over his head, but you appear to be in over your head. That is why it is important that I speak to your supervisor. If an Apple card is the only way I can receive my funds, then why did you first want me to buy a razor and send it to you? That makes no sense at all. As I believe I previously have stated earlier, we need to escalate this issue to a supervisor who is at a higher level and probably has a lot more knowledge and intelligence than you. What is the name and email of your supervisor? Give me your phone number, let me call you so we can talk, since you can't read my messages before replying. Damien, my telephone number is, and I give him a telephone number. Please do not share that number with anyone else, because it is my private number and I don't want many people to have it. Actually, that reminds me of a funny but true story that really happened last summer when I met this hot chick named Rikki when I went swimming in Blue Bayou. She asked me for my phone number, and I wrote it on the back of her bikini top, the part that snaps together to hold it on her, and I jokingly said, "Rikki, don't lose that number." The joke about that is the only way she could lose that number would be if her top came off. I think it's safe to say that my witty banter really took her down a peg. P.S. Why do you keep saying I can't read your messages before replying? I always read your messages before replying. It gives me an opportunity to use my literacy, and if I don't read your message, how am I supposed to know what to say back to you? You're just delaying your funds. You should have received your funds by now. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, giving you all the due respect you are due, I must take issue with your declaration that I am just delaying my funds, and I 100% agree with you that I should have received those funds by now, but I haven't, and that's the problem. I should be on top of the world already with the funds having already arrived here, but every time I think that finally we might be finished with the preparations so that you can send the funds to me, it turns out we've only just begun. Every time I think we have reached tomorrow, it just turns out to be yesterday once more, and for all we know, this will just keep going on, which I would rather not do. Get the $2,500 for your delivery fee? How many times are you going to go round and round and round with this? It should cost only 55 cents to mail the check to me. If it will make you feel better, you can deduct the 55 cents from the total amount of the check, okay? That appears to have upset Damien a little bit. Are you telling me what it'll cost? As someone that wants his funds, do what I ask you to do. You're right. I made a mistake when eluciding the cost. The first-class stamp will cost 66 cents, not 55 cents. At least I got the 2 digits in a row part of the price right. Anyway, I stand corrected. It will cost 66 cents, not 55 cents. Don't you know what's delivery fee? Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, I'm sure I do. I mean, the term is almost self-explanatory, isn't it? Once the delivery fee, which is $2,500, is being paid? Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, I asked you 3 easy for you questions, and this is your reply? Is this supposed to be some sort of joke? Are you just playing games or something? If so, find someone else to play with, because I have other important things to attend to. Or do you just not know the answers and are too embarrassed to admit it? Why have you ignored my demand to speak to your supervisor? Are you a new intern or something? Or maybe the nephew of the guy who owns World Bank? You're the one playing games to your effing self. I've told you several to get the $2,000 Apple Card if you want to receive your funds. Read what is written on this ownership certificate. Yes, I have read the writing on the ownership certificate the other times you sent it to me. Why are you asking me to read it again? Have there been some changes that I have to approve or something? What's all this rubbish? Can't you read my emails? Can you send money for the arrest of those people? Forget about that and talk of how to receive your $6.8 million today or tomorrow. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, 1. I do not know what you are calling rubbish, but I don't like it at all. I didn't get where I am today by having people talk about all this rubbish to me, and I certainly do not plan to start now. 2. Of course I can read your emails. How else would I know what to say to you when I reply to them? 3. There's no need for you to hire anyone to arrest those people. I and a few friends will take care of that ourselves, and you won't need any money to have the crooks arrested, because after we have a good, sincere conversation with them, probably they will understand that, in the long run, trying to live life in the fast lane can be injurious to their health, if you know what I mean. In my previous email, just before this one, as well as in other previous emails before the one I sent you just before this one, I already have talked many times about how to receive my $6.8 million. Don't you read my email messages that I send to you? Those criminals have been sacked and I don't know their way about. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, please do not worry about handling the criminals. I will take care of that when I am in Los Angeles. I guess it's too late for me to come there this week. I would like to make definite plans now. Will it be convenient for you if a few friends and I swing by your office? I'll leave them in the car 1 week from today on Thursday. If so, then instead of your mailing the check to me, I can just pick it up while I'm there, and you can save on the postage you won't need to use. Please advise soonest. The $2,500 is for your delivery fee. Your documents has been signed. I paid $150 for the charges, but don't worry of paying me back, okay? Just go out now and get the $2,500 Razor Gold gift card so you can receive your funds by today. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, I understand that someone has told you it would cost $2,500 to deliver my check, but as I believe I mentioned once before, you can just put it in an envelope with a stamp on it and mail it to me for 55 cents, I think, unless it has gone up a little bit again. If so, don't worry about it because it still will be much less than $1. If you spent $150 of your own money for the charges, well, I wish you hadn't because it wasn't necessary, but I hereby authorize you to keep $150 from the total of the funds you'll be sending me. Also, thank you very much for your thoughtfulness and generosity in spending the $150, even though it wasn't necessary, but I guess you didn't know that, obviously. Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClenn. I'm waiting for you to send the $2,500 so we can proceed on delivering your funds today. By USPS Delivery Company, okay? Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, please read the email I just sent you immediately before this one, where I explained that if you send my funds via USPS Delivery Company, it will cost you only 55 cents for the stamp, and I guess 1 or 2 cents for the envelope, which you can deduct from the total before you mail the rest to me. P.S. Please confirm your receipt of this email, because apparently some of my earlier ones were delivered to someone else in your building. I don't know who. How many times will I explain this? Oh my God! It is for your delivery fee, and you're to send it United Parcel Delivery Agent. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, I don't even know where to begin to respond to your latest message. I guess I'll begin with your question, and then I'll respond to your exclamation, and finally to your unpunctuated sentence. I don't know how many times you plan to explain this. You seem to give me a different explanation each time. There is no need for you to bring God into this, and we certainly don't have time for a theological debate, so let's just leave him out of this, okay? You keep saying it is for your delivery fee, and for the billionth time I'm telling you that a 55-cent postage stamp does not cost $2,500. Can we please move on and finish this financial transaction before I have my 19th nervous breakdown? We are coming up on Ruby Tuesday, and I had assumed that by then we'd have completed this whole thing, and I could celebrate the holiday with the traditional giblet mash, the recipe for which was handed down from my great-great-grandmother in the old country, and that holds a lot of sentimental value for me, and probably for some other people too. Damien is so eager to see that I receive what, after all, is rightfully mine, that he's even offering to reach into his own pocket to help with the cost. This is what we'll do. Send $2,000, I'll help you with $500. Send it to this email, and he gives me an email address. Thank you for your generous offer to send me $500, but because I'm about to receive $6.8 million in the mail, that should be plenty enough for at least a while, if not longer. But thank you for your generous offer. P.S. Who is that email address again? I don't think I know anyone at that address. It is at this juncture that I receive an email from United Parcel. Please, is this Mr. Robb J. McClellan? Dear United Parcel Services, I may or may not be that person. First, I need to know, who are you? This is United Parcel Services. Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClellan. Mr. Damien M. Kozlowski sent $500 to us this morning concerning your delivery, so you're to send $2,000 to us and send us your home address, okay? That's odd. Did you notice that United Parcel Services writes with the same lack of punctuation as Damien M. Kozlowski? Dear United Parcel Services, thank you for your slightly more informative reply. I do know Mr. Damien M. Kozlowski. We've never met in person, but during a recent correspondence I happened to have with him, we became pretty good friends. I hope you don't mind if I ask you just 3 questions to help me understand what in tarnation you're talking about. 1. Why did Damien send you $500? I know you said concerning your delivery, but that doesn't really explain anything. 2. I don't even know who you are. I've never heard of United Parcel Services. I assume that is the name of a business and not a person, but I've still never heard of you. So if you need me to put it in the form of a question, who are you? 3. Why in the world would I send you $2,000? 4. If there's a good reason for your needing it, I'm sure I can send you my home address, but what do you need it for? For the delivery of your $6.8 million, and an hour later, your consignment box is in our custody, and he thoughtfully includes an emoji image of a box, in case I'm not familiar with boxes. Kindly get the $200 Apple Card for your delivery, and an hour after that, if you want to receive your $6.8 million as today or tomorrow, did you notice he uses wanna? Just like Damien Kozlowski. Kindly go to Supermarket Store and get $2,000 Apple Card now and send to us so we can deliver your funds. And there's a photograph of one of their delivery trucks. Meanwhile, 1 minute after the first contact from United Parcel, I hear from Damien. Read the certificate well. Mr. Damien M. Kozlowski, I did read the certificate the previous 3 times you sent it to me, but I will open up a copy and read it again because of your request that I do so. The certificate is issued by the United Nations. It includes your name and signature, but it doesn't say that you work for IMF. From the very beginning, you made it clear to me that you work for World Bank and that that's where you wanted me to send to you whatever it was I would need to send. And all of my emails to you have gone directly to you at your World Bank address. Suddenly, you tell me I'm supposed to send something to IMF, and I don't even know what IMF is, or if I did know, which I don't, where they are to send anything. No matter how many times I read the certificate, I don't see any place that says now you work for IMF instead of World Bank. Have you quit your job at World Bank and taken a new one at IMF? If so, I guess maybe you set it up so your email would be forwarded from your previous employer, World Bank, to your new employer, IMF. Do you have a new email address that I should use from now on so the email goes directly to you instead of being forwarded? When I reread the certificate just now, because you asked me to, I was reminded that in an earlier email prior to this one, I asked you what the commas are. I still am waiting for you to ELUCIDE me about that. Oh, and because you just reminded me, the certificate says I'm supposed to be paid $6.8 million every year. But most of your other emails to me said it was $6.8 million just one time, and not every year. I have asked you which one is correct because the other one, whichever it is, must be a mistake. I'm sure you'll agree with me that $6.8 million every year is a lot more than $6.8 million just once, although even just once is pretty good, I'd say. Please clarify for me the items I have enumerated above that I'm sure you agree need clarification. IMF is aware of your funds now. No one will disturb you on how you're receiving that amount of money now. That's why IMF is involved. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, all of these changes are confusing me a little bit. 1. Is it IMF or is it IMF? 2. Regardless of which it is, see number 1 above, what do those letters mean? 3. You say they are aware of my funds now. How does that change our arrangement? Will they be mailing the cashier's check to me instead of it's being mailed by World Bank? I thought this was going to be a simple, straightforward arrangement. I know you've been working very hard to make it work, but despite your admirable efforts, it seems to be getting more and more confusing. As the Bulgarians say, confusion is the enemy of deep understanding, and that definitely seems to be the case here. Does it really have to be so complicated? You need to send the $2,000 Razor Gold card to them as soon as possible so you can receive your funds today. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, I am positive that I already previously had told you I don't use Razor Gold and don't even know for sure what it is. I can guess it's for shaving, but also I believe that's the name of those electric bikes that you see at the beach if you go there. We don't have a beach here, but the last time I went to Miami, they had lots of those little bikes all over the place. It seems to me people could easily just steal them if they wanted to. I guess it runs on some kind of honor system, and surprisingly, I guess people actually honor it. Anyway, please stop telling me to send Razor or Razor Gold for the reasons I once again have elucidated above. This is 2 a.m. here in California. I'll send the $500 before 12 p.m. 2:09 a.m. in California would be 5:09 a.m. here. It's now around 7 p.m. here, and I am sorry to report that your $500 hasn't arrived here yet. Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClen. Good morning to you. Have you contacted them? Good morning. What them are you referring to? IMF? IMF. World Bank? Razor? Or if you mean those crooks in California, no, I haven't contacted them yet. We haven't yet finalized the plan, but I don't intend to tip them off in advance. Instead, we'll let it be a surprise, if you know what I mean. Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClen. I've sent $500 them this morning, so kindly contact them and send the remaining $2,000 them now so you can receive your funds today. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, this is really getting confusing. To whom did you send $500 this morning? Who is the them you want me to contact? While I admire your ability to write emails that are very concise and usually don't waste words, sometimes it seems as though you've made it so concise that you forgot to include what it was you wanted to tell me. Often I find I need to use more words than that, because words are all I have, and in an email, I don't have more than words, unless I include a photo or something. Please clarify. Your funds are with them, so contact them and pay them the $2,000? Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, in your previous email, you instructed me to contact them and pay them, but you didn't tell me whom you want me to contact and pay. So I replied, and I quote word for word in a verbatim manner, "Who is the them you want me to contact?" Do you know how you answered that question? You answered, "Your funds are with them, so contact them." It's almost as if you never actually read the emails you receive, but instead respond with a completely random answer as if it were drawn from a hat. I must say I didn't get where I am today by responding with a completely random answer as if it were drawn from a hat, and you shouldn't either. Why not try actually reading the person's email and then actually responding to what they actually wrote in that email? Sure, it sounds crazy, but it just might work. Did you receive my email in which I asked you to explain what the $2,500 is all about? I hope everything is going well for you where you are in California. Oh, that reminds me, I still need to know which city in California, because there are so many it could be. I'm at Los Angeles, California. The easiest way for you to send the $2,000 is by gift card. Great! Los Angeles is my favorite city in all of California and even throughout the entire state. Some friends and I affectionately call it the City of Angels, just as kind of a nickname. We also sometimes call it L.A., short for Los Angeles. I haven't been there for several years now. Some people say it's not quite as nice there ever since Mayor Yorty retired, but there always will be people who complain whenever anything changes at all. Do you know what I mean? Instead of watching all the movie stars there, they look for little tiny things to nitpick about. Best of all, it's easy to find a nonstop flight from several Florida cities that goes all the way to Los Angeles with 0 stops, which is my preference. In what part of Los Angeles is your office located? I am guessing it's downtown, although there's also a lot of banking happening in Century City and in Boyle Heights. You said the easiest way for you to send the $2,000 is by gift card. I've never heard of gift cards that contain money. I assume you don't mean putting the money into a card, like a Christmas card or some other holiday. I'm familiar with gift certificates, like from Woolworths, and you make it for a certain amount and then send it to someone, and they can take it to any Woolworths they want and buy whatever they want up to, but not past the amount of money that's in the gift card. But I don't see what Woolworths would have to do with all this, so most likely it's not that either. This week has gotten busier than I expected due to a misunderstanding between me and the Lake Wales Parking Enforcement Authority. But next week looks pretty good for a trip to Los Angeles. How does Tuesday, July 18 sound for my arrival date? I don't expect you to show me the tour sites or anything. I can just come to your office, sign the documents, pick up my funds, and then maybe take a quick swim at La Brea Tar Pits before some friends and I take care of some unfinished business we need to finish while I'm there. Is July 18 good for you? Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClenn. Why are you delaying this delivery? Send the $2,500 Apple gift card so you can receive your funds as soon as possible. Wait, now you're saying send the $2,500 Apple gift card. Do you realize that you never ever, not even once, have previously mentioned an Apple gift card prior to the very email I'm replying to? I don't understand why I keep receiving so many strange and confusing requests from you, almost every one of which contradicts almost every other one of them. But I must say I find them to be strange and confusing, and they serve only to distract us from our mission together. I don't mean to sound as though I am criticizing you. I didn't get where I am today by criticizing you. But it seems to me as though every day there's at least one email telling me I have to do something that I don't know what I'm talking about. With all due respect, I think we need to focus a lot more on collecting my funds and taking care of those criminals who tried to steal them. Don't worry, I know you don't want to have anything to do with that part of the plan, and I promise to keep you out of it completely. On the other hand, if my plans go according to plan, you just might read about it afterward in the LA Times or maybe in the Herald Examiner. But let's stop with all these cards, okay? Hello, Mr. Rob J. McClen. Kindly respond to my okay. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, I do not understand what you mean by responding to your okay. Please explain. Just a suggestion. If you would explain what you mean in the first email, there would be no need for me to ask you to explain what you mean and then for you to have to write another email explaining what you meant in the previous one. I think that would cut way back on the countless number of emails flying back and forth between us. Get the card and I'll tell how to send it, okay? Just go to CVS Pharmacy Store and tell them that you want to buy $500 times 5 Razor Gold gift card. Why in the world do you want me to buy gift cards? When I pay a bill, I don't send a gift card, I mail a check. When I pay my taxes, I don't send the Internal Revenue Service a gift card, unless I'm sending it with my check, just to kiss up to them a little. It's always been done that way, and it is same as it ever was, same as it ever was. But there's not even any reason for me to send you a check. As I said before, all you have to do is deduct the $2,000 from the funds before you send them to me. P.S. In prior emails that previously you sent me earlier, you said the amount is supposed to be $2,000. But now you are saying you want 5 $500 cards. While it's true I don't know much about trigonometry and I don't know much about algebra, I do know that 5 times $500 equals $2,500, which just happens to be $500 more than $2,000. Once you get the $2,500 Razor Gold card today, by tomorrow evening you'll receive your $6.8 million. Please, I'm waiting to hear from you, okay, so we can get all this done as soon as possible, sir. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, that is great news. I absolutely share your desire to get all this done as soon as possible, sir. Tomorrow evening is when I play canasta with some friends, and I don't want to be out when the $6.8 million arrive. I suppose I could have a neighbor sign for it, but the one on my left is on vacation, and I'm involved in a long-running feud with the other. Is it possible to have it delivered not later than, say, 4 p.m.? If you don't see Razor Gold gift card, you can buy Apple gift card for $2,500, okay. An Apple gift card? You mean like the computer? Now I think you're just pulling my dick, like some big crazy joke or something. I am not sending any cards to anybody. Why do you keep delaying the delivery of my funds with these crazy requests that I know you must just be joking about? You still haven't told me if next week will be a convenient time for me to come to Los Angeles. Let's plan right now for me to arrive at your office in the early afternoon on Thursday. Will that work for you? P.S. I just realized I don't know the address for World Bank. What is that address? What's wrong with you? You're coming here to do what? If you're not serious on receiving your funds, get out, okay. If you're serious, get the $2,500 Apple card for your delivery fee. What the gosh darn hell do you mean, what's wrong with you? If that's how World Bank conducts its business, then it's no wonder the world is having so many problems right now. I'm coming there to pick up my money, take care of those crooks that inexplicably appear to have been released for no good reason. I don't suppose you know anything about that, huh? And if there's time, also swing by the Hollywood Walk of Fame, with my Polaroid camera, of course, to see which famous actors are standing around there, which varies depending upon both the day, the time of day, and the weather. Is that a simple enough explanation that even you can understand it? I've told you several not to worry about coming here because this is a secret between me and you. And you're talking of coming here. Do you want to spoil the deal? Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, 1. I am not worried about going there. I have gone to plenty of places, probably more places than you, I bet. 2. You never said this is a secret between you and me, not once. I challenge you to show me the email in which you said, listen, do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Or similar words that include secret. Why would coming there in person spoil the deal? Why don't you just let me be? Don't tell me you're one of those pathetic people who think if it's too easy, they're going to disagree. Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClen. I don't know why you keep delaying your funds. Kindly get the $2,500 Apple gift card so you can receive your funds by tomorrow. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, how many times do I have to tell you? 1, you said it's only $2,000, not $2,500. B, sending a gift card to a bank is stupid. What is a bank supposed to do with a gift card? I don't know why you keep bringing that up over and over again, but I didn't get where I am today by sending gift cards to a bank. Just deduct the $2,000, not $2,500, from my funds and send me the remainder. Easy peasy. Get the $2,500 Apple gift card so all this can be done tomorrow. Go to the store with $2,500 and tell them that you want to buy Apple gift card for $2,500 and tell them to activate it. This is for an example, and there are a couple of examples. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, I thought I already had addressed this issue with you, but perhaps I merely intended to do so but never did. I don't buy gift cards, except for Christmas for my nephews and nieces. I never know what to get them as a gift, so with the card they can pick it out themselves even if I never would. But I certainly never have bought any of them a gift card that cost $2,500. Although, of course, it's supposed to be $2,000 anyway from what you said in an earlier email. Thank you for the picture of Apple, but I'm already familiar with their computers. I've been using their Macintosh Plus for years, mostly for emails and to keep my recipes and also my birding life list. The birding life list includes a photograph of each bird, so it's a very handy way to keep them organized. The rarest on my list is a Kirtland's warbler, which I stumbled upon during a trip to Michigan many years ago. But I realize that's probably a lot more interesting to me than it is to normal people. But for as long as my trusty Plus continues to work well, I don't envision making a trip to the Apple Store in the foreseeable future, or even beyond. Damian's next email includes no message at all, just these 4 stock photographs. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, no! Those are trucks belonging to United Parcel Service, and we agreed that the U.S. Post Office is what we should be using. Please see the attached photographs for your reference, and you may keep the photos. Remember, we are not talking about using United Parcel Service. And here are the 2 helpful photos to help Damian identify the U.S. Postal Service. Get Apple gift card OK. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, this is literally the billionth time I have had to tell you I am not getting an Apple gift card. Unless, I guess, if you send me one as a surprise gift. Otherwise, however, please stop talking about this gift card nonsense. What is the full mailing address of the World Bank office in Los Angeles? Please be sure to include any suite number, office number, floor number, etc. I've showed you several examples of Apple gift cards. Go to a store and tell them to give you Apple gift card for $2,500. It's also called iTunes card, and there are a couple of images of iTunes cards. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, yes, you have shown me several examples of Apple gift cards. They are quite colorful, and maybe I could adapt them as Christmas tree ornaments, but we are far from Christmas, and I'm not very religious anyway. So please stop sending me those pictures and talking on and on about gift cards. As I said to you earlier, if you say something once, why say it again? When it comes to the topic of gift cards, it seems you're talking a lot, but you're not saying anything. When I have nothing to say, my lips are sealed. That's long been my credo. It's always seemed to me that if you say something once, why say it again? In my previous email that I sent you earlier before this one, I asked for the full address of the World Bank in Los Angeles. I need to know where your office is so I can decide what hotel to stay at. Are you familiar with the Hotel California on Seven Bridges Road, just beneath the Hollywood sign? I can't tell you why, because I'm not sure why, but whenever I have to come to Los Angeles and stay there, there's this kind of peaceful, easy feeling that washes over me, in a good way. It would be nice to stay there again, unless it burned down or something. So please remember to send me World Bank's complete address so I can look on a map and see how close it is to the hotel. And if you ever have friends come to visit, I highly recommend that hotel to them, if that's the kind of hotel they prefer. I told you that this deal is between me and you, so why are you coming here to mess up our plans? Yes, this deal is between you and me, but it also includes the crooks who now, thankfully, are in jail. I have had a considerable amount of experience helping the Lake Wales police solve crimes. In fact, when a new crime is committed around here, often I'm the first person the police call. I'm sure the police in Los Angeles aren't very different from the police around here, except maybe for their accents. For example, I'm sure the police will want me to pick the crooks out of a lineup to make sure they've got the right ones, and that's just one example. So you don't have to worry about my messing up our plans, and this deal definitely will remain between you and me. But Damien seems dogged, like a dog with a bone, which maybe that's where dogged comes from. Anyway, he says, everything is set now. Your funds are ready to be delivered to you, but you're the delaying it. If you get $2,500 Razor Gold or Apple Card today, you'll receive your funds by tomorrow morning. I don't know why you keep delaying all this. I'm not the one who is delaying this. You are delaying everything by, 1, continually talking about apples and razors, no matter how many times I tell you I don't do business that way, and neither does anyone else I know, and I know a lot of people, including 2 retired Major League Baseball players. On one single day, you sent me 18 emails. Because when growing up, I was taught to be respectful of people and answer every email they sent me because, after all, they went to the trouble of writing it, it is taking me forever just to answer one day's emails from you. I suggested this once before, and now I respectfully insist that you turn this over to a supervisor at World Bank who does not send me 18 emails in one day. I'm sure you're a swell guy, but 18 emails in one day is far, far, far too many emails for you to send me in one day. The best thing to do right now is turn this over to your supervisor in order for me not to keep getting 18 emails in one day while simultaneously freeing you up for other less important tasks. If you want your $6.8 million to get to you today, kindly get the $2,500. Mr. Damien M. Kozlowski, I am certain I suggested this solution to you before, but you pretend I never even told it to you. Just deduct the $2,000, not $2,500, from the $6.8 million. Easy peasy. Maybe I'm amazed at how long you're dragging this out, but it's time for you to listen to what the man said all along. I really want to help you on this because I know you'll be very with me if you received your funds. Just get the $2,500 Razor Gold Card or Apple Card so you can receive your funds as soon as possible, okay? Mr. Damien M. Kozlowski, I absolutely do promise to be very with you if I received my funds. I give you my word on that, and anyone who knows me will tell you my word is word bond. What's wrong with you? How can you receive your funds while you've not fee you supposed to pay? Mr. Damien M. Kozlowski, who told you something's wrong with me? The only person in the world who would say that is Austin Roberts, and I can't even remember how long it's been since I've heard anything from him. And in case you don't know it, he's a noisy, crazy, sloppy, lazy loafer, and that's not just my opinion, believe you me. I don't want to sound conceited or anything, but compared to him, I'm perfect in every way. Also, I haven't received my funds. What makes you think I have? And now you say I'm not supposed to pay a fee? Look, we're just going round and round in a circular motion and not getting anywhere at all. It is time to turn this project over to your supervisor. Wouldn't you agree? There is no shame in not knowing what you're doing. It just means World Bank didn't give you good enough training. Please have your supervisor contact me directly, and he and I will work this thing out. This really has dragged on for far too long. And now Damien tries a different approach with me. Logic. The $2,500 is for your delivery fee. For example, when you enter a taxi, you'll pay for the taxi to take you to where you're going, right? You have to pay for the delivery fee so your funds will get to you today. But I am not taking a taxi to California, I'm flying there. Although now it looks as though we won't have time to plan the trip for this week, so let's move it to next week and finally get it done with. The post office is waiting for you to get the $2,500 so they can deliver your funds to you. Text them on this email now. And he gives me that same email address. The post office? That's what I've been telling you all along. Send the $6.8 million to me via the post office. They have lots and lots of experience delivering envelopes across the country. And obviously, you can put the cashier's check into an envelope and seal it up so that nobody even knows what's inside it. But why are you saying you want me to text them? As I believe I told you before, I am not a teenage girl. I don't text or tic-tac or any of those things. And even if I did, which I don't, I wouldn't know what to say to them. This are where you can get the Razor Gold card in Florida. And Damien includes descriptions of a store in Lakeland and 2 in Orlando. Mr. Damien M. Kozlowski, frankly, I'm puzzled. Why did you send me the names of 3 paper stores that are nowhere near where I am? It's kind of like if I were to send you the names of stores that are many hours from where you are in Los Angeles, like in Galveston or Wichita or Phoenix. Sure, they're all in California, but it would take you hours and hours to get there because they're at the top of the state while you're close to the bottom of the state. Also, one of them doesn't even know how to spell curbside, which raises lots of suspicious questions about that particular operation. Anyway, I appreciate how little effort you must have put into getting those map pictures for me, but I don't know why. If you're from outside North America, I know you might already be taking umbrage at my scorning the spelling of curbside with a K. But in the United States, and in the more reasonable parts of Canada, we spell it with a C. Meanwhile, Damien seems upset. You don't need to come here. How many times will I tell you that? Mr. Damien M. Kozlowski, you seem to be confused. I never said I need to come there. I said I wanted to come there. And there's a big difference between those two things, you know. Don't worry, it's really not such an inconvenience as you might assume it is. I'll be going there by airplane, so the distance really doesn't matter so much. Granted, you can't jump a jet plane like you can a freight train, but I plan to use frequent flyer miles, so getting onto the plane shouldn't be a problem. Thank you, however, for your concern. If you come here, you'll find yourself in a jail. Be warned. What? What the gosh darn hell are you talking about? I never have been caught doing something illegal, so why would the local constables throw a jailhouse rock at me? As if that weren't bad enough, which it is, you say to me, be warned. I don't know who you think you're talking to, but I didn't get where I am today by being warned. Are you just having a bad day or what? I expect your next email to me to contain a convincingly written, sincere apology from you to me for the insult you just sent me. Damien might have his flaws, being a scammer, for instance, but I've got to admit he is remarkably persistent. Get the $2,500 Apple gift card and everything will be done today. I'm not getting anything until you explain why you're saying I'll find myself in a jail. What jail? Why? Who is going to put me there? Apparently you have additional information that you are not telling me. But if you think you can threaten to have me put in jail and then ask me to send you gift cards, you need to have your eyes checked or something. P.S. Please give me the name and contact information for your supervisor with whom I wish to converse regarding certain matters. Apparently, Damien is terrified by the prospect of my contacting his supervisor and thinks he might catch me off guard via Google Chat. He tried 4 times in one day. Hello, Mr. Robb J. McClellan. How are you doing today? It's me, Damien M. Kozlowski. Gee, I'm sorry I missed him. So Damien reverts to email. Stop bringing past tense. Mr. Damien M. Kozlowski. When have I ever brought past tense? Call me on this number right now. And he gives a phone number in the 419 area code. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, 419 is in Ohio. Why should I call Ohio? And what is it that makes you think you can order me around like that? Whatever happened to the rare type of common courtesy a person used to expect from a bank? When you're ready to pay the $2,500, let me know because I don't like talking much. You don't need to talk at all. Just send me my funds, minus the charges and the 66 cents for postage. I am almost certain I already told you that. Don't say you don't remember. I think Damien is becoming a little impatient. See if you can spot that impatience in his next email. I've told you several to go to Walmart store or any other store and get the Apple Card, and you're wasting my time and sending stupid messages. You can F off, okay? If you're serious on your funds, get the $2,000 Apple Card. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, and I've told you several that I cannot go to Walmart store due to my religion, and I already have a perfectly good Apple computer, even if it is a little old. And I see that once again you've used a very bad word in your most recent email to which I am responding in this one. You leave me no choice but to file a formal complaint against you. You are required to respond to this notice of a pending complaint against you by immediately telling me the name, email address, and direct telephone number of your immediate supervisor. Cordially, Robb McClellan. When you're ready to receive your funds, kindly send the gift card as I requested. I'm ready to receive my funds. I thought I already told you that, but perhaps I'm thinking of someone else. Are you playing games on me or what? F off, okay? Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, first, I'm not playing games on you. What kind of game could I play through the emails? Second, I'm becoming more and more convinced that you're just some young, inexperienced, ignorant intern who doesn't know better. But I'd better educate you about this before you get into some sort of real trouble with your bosses. I assume you don't realize this, and it's just something you learned on the street, as the Bible says. But F is a very, very bad word that never should be used in a business email or conversation. I'm very surprised you didn't learn that from the World Bank Employee Handbook. I suggest you pay particular attention to page 7, vulgarities and personal insults. Get the $2,000 Apple Card if you want to receive your funds. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, have you suffered some sort of terrible impairment to your memory? I am positive I already told you I have a perfectly good Apple computer, and I'm certainly not going to spend $2,000 on a new one that I don't need. At least now you have gotten more intelligent and are talking about $2,000 instead of $2,500. But stop with the Apple Cards already. I don't send cards to people unless maybe it's their birthday or possibly if someone died, depending upon whether I liked them when they were alive. I can't believe how long you're making this take. It's as though I'm knocking on heaven's door, but no one hears me because the doorbell is broken. Just send me my funds in a cashier's check after deducting $2,000 from the total so that World Bank gets its money. I mean, geez Louise. Go to Walmart and get the $2,000 Apple Card if you're ready to receive your funds. Why is it you never listen to what I say? I told you I can't go to Walmart due to religious reasons, which are protected by the First Commandment of the U.S. Constitution, which I would think you would know, but apparently you don't. Find where you can get the $2,000 Apple Card. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski. I asked Google where I can get the $2,000 Apple Card, and here's what Google said. As you can see, the Apple Card is a credit card. To get one, you have to have a super high credit score, minimum 240 score, which at the moment is very much higher than the score I have, due to a misunderstanding between a bunch of different restaurants and me. So even if I wanted an Apple credit card, which I don't, at the moment I wouldn't be able to qualify for one. Once you send me my funds, I should easily be able to qualify if that's still what you want. I don't know why it's so important to you. Do you get some sort of commission or something? Listen to me, Mr. Robb J. McClen. If you're not effing serious on receiving your funds, kindly F off okay. But if you're ready to receive your funds, get the $2,000 Apple Card, else stop texting me. I hate nonsense, okay. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, I believe this is the third time you have used a very ugly four-letter word that is used only by people who have either very limited vocabularies or sadly limited intelligence. As my beloved grandma used to say to me when I was but a boy, people who have to resort to very ugly four-letter words are just assholes. Do not grow up to be like them. As usual, Granny was absolutely correct. Now, I will tell you this as clearly as I can. Do not ever use that word with me again. Your bungled handling of my funds transfer undoubtedly is enough to have World Bank's management wondering if you are smart enough for the job you're supposed to be doing. Adding to your professional woes, a formal complaint against you for gross rudeness to a customer might well end up costing you your job. Although they say every picture tells a story, if your attitude doesn't dramatically change ASAP, I'm afraid you'll discover the hard way that not everything is sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, if you catch my drift. And then I quote Damian's demand, else stop texting me. What? I never have texted you. I already told you I don't do texting. Show me even one text you received from me. Just as I thought, you can't provide even a shred of evidence that I ever have texted you. A thought just now occurred to me. Vulgar language, rudeness to customers, bogus accusations of my having texted you. Are you okay? Or are you experiencing some sort of emotional breakdown that is causing you to act so weirdly and erratically and inexplicably? If you are in the midst of a mental or emotional breakdown due to the daily stresses of your job, I want you to know you should always feel free to talk to me confidentially about whatever is going on. If that is not the case, however, then please stop talking to me as though you're just some idiot who sneaks away when his mother isn't looking and goes to the public library to use their free computers to send very, very rude emails to people they don't even know. In his reply, Damian doesn't sound at all mollified. Seriously, I don't hear any more molly in his voice than previously. I can see that you're not effing serious on receiving your funds. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, I must apologize. You did it again using language that is completely inappropriate for a World Bank employee. But it has been explained to me by my across-the-street neighbor, a well-respected physician named Dr. Kildare, that after reading your emails that I showed him, it's obvious to him, it wasn't obvious to me, that you are struggling with some sort of damage to your brain's frontal lobes. I don't quite understand all of the science behind it, but if Dr. Kildare is correct, then you are not to blame for your coarse language and harsh insults. In fact, you might not even realize you're saying those things that you have been saying to me. If indeed that is the case, when I email my complaint about you to your supervisor, I will be sure to point out that your abhorrent behavior might be due, at least in part, to your broken lobes. I don't know if broken lobes are painful, but I hope you get them fixed as soon as possible. I'm sure World Bank has great health insurance for its employees, so hopefully you won't have to worry about how much it costs for you to get fixed. Damian's reply is, well, it's brief. Go to hell, okay. Mr. Damian M. Kozlowski, it sounds as though maybe your lobes are feeling a little better. Have you been taking some sort of medication for it? I'm sure you are familiar with the famous quote from Roger Zelazny, who said, "Be warned, therefore, that one does not go to hell to light a cigarette." I believe this was before people realized cigarettes can be bad for you, depending upon whether or not you smoke any. Inasmuch as I never even once have smoked a cigarette, I don't think I have to worry about going to hell, thank you very much. Damian tries one last time to get me to follow his instructions. That's the only way you can receive your fund. Why do you say that? Certainly World Bank knows how to use the U.S. Postal Service. Only some little rinky-dink operation would expect money to be transmitted by sending someone a gift card. If you don't believe me, try paying your taxes by mailing a razor thing to the Internal Revenue Service. Look, if you can't handle this, then go ahead and honor the request I already have made of you 2 or 3 times already. Give me the name, title, and email address of your supervisor. There's no shame in not knowing how to do something. Obviously, you have not received the proper training necessary to competently do the job for which you were hired. It's entirely possible you're just not intelligent enough to perform the duties of whatever your job is. By the way, what is your job title? You never have mentioned that. Anyway, it's not your fault. The blame belongs to whoever was supposed to train you. Did he or she, I'm guessing it's a he because often they tend to be kind of arrogant, give you any training? Or did they just magically expect you to know how to do those things required by your new job with them? So just send me the name and contact information for your supervisor, and I'll take it from there. Oddly, that's the last I ever hear from Damian M. Kozlowski. Our conversation ended so abruptly, just as we were getting started. Somehow I can't help shake the ominous feeling that he has fallen prey to the criminal wiles of Martha Yawa Tsitsiwu. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to our channel so you'll know whenever I've added a new Scambaiting email video. If you'll be kind enough to share your comments, suggestions, requests, and reactions to this video in the comments section below, I promise to make sure Robb sees it. It's been an honor to share this Scambaiting adventure with you. In sincerity and on behalf of Robb McClellan.